AIR, hi. Hello. Heyo, hello Weavy, Octopus Boy. Whoa, a lot of people. You should repeat that, Guten Tag. I was going to stream around 6 with other stuff, but I forgot this was happening today. And I guess we are 5 minutes out. Elon Musk, my use of the word conversation is deliberate. This is so that people understand how at real Donald Trump talks when it's a conversation rather than an interview. Nobody is quite themselves in an interview, so it's hard to understand what they're really like. Bold of Elon to assume that Trump is going to be, like, honest in any way. Very funny. God. No, this really will be the equivalent of that meme where it's just, like, the two dumbest bitches you know at the party being like, exactly, yes. Hey, Tim Cooper. Hey, Kongu. Loving the hair. Thank you. Stay Gold. Thank you. Glad you're here. All right, so I guess we're 2 minutes out. Do we not have... Here's number one with the dumb bullshit about this thing, Elon. Twitter, famously... not a fucking good platform for streaming on. So that's going to be fun. Brian Donovan, thank you with the goats. Oh yeah, Congo 992. Like Donald Trump is I don't know. Like okay. Oh, here we go. Here's the space. Or is it going on in the space? Is it? All right, it's loading, I think. Yeah, it's streamed on Twitter. X spaces. Thank you very much, Shabiri, as well. David Wild, thank you for $1.99. North Spokane is best Spokane. I feel like all Spokane is around the same. Unless you're talking about like fucking Airway Heights or Hilliard, which isn't Spokane, but also... Great. Oh, so awesome. The Elon Musk Donald Trump space. Elon Musk and Donald Trump space off to a great start. Donald Trump space unavailable. So good. Is it not going to be a video? Whatever. The AI summary of chat is misgendering me. Oh. I mean, not right now. Also, hi chat. It's an audio only thing? Seriously? Seriously? Thank you, Courtney Gumach Owen. Oh, and thank you very much, Johnny Viral. What the fuck? This is going so rad, dude. This is going so good. I'm just waiting for it to fucking load. It's all happening on X, guys. It's all happening on X. I guess let me try. I can't open in a new window even. What the fuck? My AI sound, yeah, the streamers is generally what. Elon's garbage site can't handle 100K people in a spaces, and he somehow wants to do more video. Is it like topping out at 100,000? Because it says 122,000. That's fucking crazy. Okay, let's, I guess, go. I don't even know what to fucking. Oh, Bernard. Okay. It's like, wait, what? What is going on? All right. Like, I guess, do I just sit here until it fucking loads? Or like, Joseph Wyatt, $1.99. It's crazy how in the last month everything's flipped. Yeah, like the Trump assassination attempt genuinely feels like a lifetime ago. It's fucking crazy. History's Actor, thank you for $6.50. Holy counts. He's mad that Kamala Harris stole his tax-free tips idea. Just got a warning for the stream's sexual themes. It's just loading endlessly. Can anybody even get in? All right, sorry. I'm gonna browse on Twitter, see if anybody can even get into this fucking thing. All right, Christy Yamaguchi Main saying no. Trump on X. Okay, no, it is gonna be. All right, hang on. All right, let me. All right, what the fuck? All right, let me see. Trump and Elon tonight. See, like, this is not the way to do an event like this, Elon. I realize that you don't actually give a fuck about anything, and like you just leave other people to figure out all your shit. All right, maybe this will be it. I doubt it, but let's see. Nope. Great. Awesome. Oh, that's my stream. Okay. All right. Trump and Elon. All right. Is there a? Does this actually take me to a thing? Okay, so this is just the. Okay. This is all just bots sharing shit because of course it is, because of course fucking like it's the same fucking post from all these fucking bots. Because of course it is. Do I want to, I don't know who those people are. I don't want to really. Who the fuck are these people? Host, co-host. It's just this entire place is just a fucking bot network now. Dkaki, thank you for subbing with Prime. Juliana, thank you for 12 months in a row. A whole year. Holy crap. I can't believe I've been streaming for a year. What is... Like, because it doesn't even show, like, a loading, any indication of loading. So, like, fuck me, I guess. Like, for all I know, it could be, like, pinging off my VPN or something. I don't... Okay, you know what? Hang on. Let's see if somebody on YouTube is watching it. Ugh, I don't want to watch Vosh. Yeah, I won't be doing that.
This will get a worthy response after what's happened in Kursk.
Great way to stay up to date on the news, Fox. So good. Fitzpatrick, thank you for following. The Ziggles, thank you for following. Vosh isn't in either. Yeah. I don't think anybody's in. Let me see if I can just filter it by live. Yeah, I wouldn't. Ariel Haymarket, I wouldn't be surprised if it's full of bots right now. Sensation for... Oh, this is the Tesla account.
Cryptocurrencies wasn't just about a new form of money. It was about embracing a technology that could reshape our economic landscape and redefine America's role in the future.
Shut the fuck up. This is making me more like I'm getting ready to watch two of the most annoying men in the world, and like it's so fitting that even the ability to watch them is driving me crazy. No, it's not. Live interview starts in 20 minutes. Is that the X Spaces? Oh, look, they're having the same fucking problem, it looks like. Stephen Knight, my pronouns are they, them. Thank you for asking. Sensation 2024 from Tesla is fucking nuts. Like, straight up, it sounds like an AI wrote that. The live interview. All right, this must be, so CNET has it. Let me see if I can just look it up on CNET, because I don't want to give any of these fucking, no, that's not what I, nope. Thank you, YouTube. Nope. Did they not, CNET not? guess let's see if the space is live. Let's go to the space. Fresh and fit, rad. Okay, so there is a countdown, it looks like. What is this Sensation 2024 shit? I'm so fucking confused about how... Untitled. 5 seconds, great. So it's all just the same shit. Yeah, Elon and Trump breaking the internet tonight. That's because nothing they ever make fucking works. It came broken. They aren't breaking it. It was already broken. God damn. All right, was this one? I don't remember. Live coverage. Nope, they were watching. I don't fucking want to watch him talk for any amount of time. All right, I guess this is the one.
Go to the website, make a deposit, and watch your cryptocurrency double. I am ready to take questions from the audience. Please speak up. I understand that many of you may have questions about security. I want to assure you that this scheme is absolutely safe and fair. We work with verified and reliable platforms to ensure maximum protection of your funds.
Is this AI?
We
What
have
the fuck is
24/7
this?
technical support that is always ready to help you with any questions or issues. Today's event is a chance for all crypto enthusiasts and users to double their assets. This is a unique opportunity that should not be missed.
This is AI.
I want each of you to scan the QR code right now and go to the website. Let's make this evening unforgettable and double your wealth together with Tesla.
What the fuck?
Don't forget that our support is available 24/7. If you have any questions or need clarifications, our specialists are always in touch and ready to help. So friends, don't waste time. Scan the QR code, make deposits, and enjoy how your crypto assets double.
What the? How is this on
This
the
is our-
Tesla page? Go to Trump's Twitter. How the fuck? Like, how was that on the? That's fucking crazy. It's a fake Tesla account. It had like 600,000 followers. How? That's so bizarre. Like, they're playing the long game. Holy shit. All right, let's see. Let's see. All right, is there anything fucking real on here? Wait, hang on. Might have something. Come on. Oh, Christ.
And if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally.
Together we will determine the course of America. And for many, many years to come. For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government, while the people have borne the cost. That all changes.
That all
starting right
changes.
here and right
Epsilon,
now.
YouTube Live is just crypto
Because
scams of
this
people trying to
moment
failing to
is
join
your
the space.
moment.
It's
It
fucking
belongs
crazy.
to you.
What a nightmare we've created. What a nightmare.
The forgotten men and women of our country
Let's turn
will
you
be
down, buddy.
forgotten no longer.
Trump leading in 5 of the 6 most important battleground states.
Like, honestly, though, they deserve each other. They deserve the fucking, like, crypto scams. Anybody who buys into Elon's bullshit, anybody who unironically wants to follow, like, they deserve the worst. Not the worst, but
Everyone is listening to you now. I will fight for you.
oh, this is real. Yeah, this is something that Trump released, I think, today.
I will never, ever let you down. My fellow Americans, our movement is far from over. In fact, our fight has only just
Yeah, I believe that's
begun.
this thing that he just posted 8 hours ago.
The test of a man is how much he will bear for a cause which he knows to be right. How long will he stand in the depths of despair?
It's
How
on
much
X, but it's
will
currently
he suffer
crashed.
and fight? There are many to serve when the victory
Oh,
is near,
man.
and few hurts to be borne. But it calls for a leader of courage to cheer the men in a battle forlorn. It is the way you hold out against odds that are great that proves what your courage is worth. It is the way that you stand to the bruises of fate that shows up your stature and girth. And victory is
Please don't
nothing
talk about
but
Trump's
your
girth.
skill,
I don't want to hear about
veneered
Trump's
with a
girth.
glory that's thin. Unless it is a proof of unfaltering will.
213,000. Charlie Warzel is listening. All right, I'm just going to let it sit and see if I get in.
Is New York's Donald Trump running for president?
Why did Trump think Elon wouldn't fuck this up? I don't think either of them thought about it that
East
much.
Coast newspapers today stating his views on foreign policy.
Okay,
and these
Weston
ads
was
will
sorry.
Win him a following. In the ads, he says, "There's nothing wrong with American foreign."
Let's get out of here. All right, they're still doing that. They're doing a fucking the crypto scam thing. It's fucking crazy. That is fucking crazy how so many people are like, look, like 300,000 people just between those two streams watching the fucking crypto ad right now. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. YouTube channel Times of India is showing it apparently. No, we were just watching Times of India. Noob and Pro Minecraft. Or are these just fucking... All right, hang on. Their live interview starts in $13. 13 minutes. What are the odds this is not another fucking crypto scam? All right, Musk free speech. Maybe it's on now. Fucking, I guess. Got it. Is there a happening now button? Crashed. Trump space. Twitter blackout. Just what, like, the stepping on rake brothers, everybody. It's actually so over for Trump. Oh, man. Like, yo, the resistance libs are fucking dunking on them. Let's go. I do, honestly, though, I kind of love to see it. I love this for them. I love a little, we fired all our engineers, and then now nothing fucking works moment. I love that for you, Elon. The 4 Twitter employees trying to figure out why the space crashed. Like here's the thing, right? Is that people are going to, the conservatives are going to try and spin it as like, oh, like so many people wanted to see it that it crashed. The reality is that Elon has done such a fucking dog shit terrible time of taking care of Twitter's infrastructure and trying to keep on people who actually know how to run everything at Twitter, that this was like probably really easy to see coming for anybody paying attention. Like, he has laid off so many integral workers during his time there. right? Yet has also tried to like repeat Facebook's worst mortal sin by trying to pivot Twitter to being like this fucking video platform, which is why he's always talking in Jeremy Boring and Matt Walsh's mentions like, oh, you should debut this on X. You should put this on X. You should put this on X. Do this on X. It's not a fucking video platform. It does not have, like, here's the problem with X, Twitter, as a video platform. It was not created with the infrastructure in mind to be a competitor for Twitch or fucking YouTube. So what Elon Musk is doing is, instead of hiring a dedicated workforce that can create that infrastructure to make it a solid fucking place, he is just like duct taping on the ability for video. They deserve this. Is it starting at 8:30? It fucking better not be. Oh, God. No, like, is because it says, people say it's going now. Elon is claiming it's a DDoS. Dude. Like, yo, if you can fucking DDoS Twitter, like, what is your, you have one of the biggest social media platforms in the world. What is your fucking security look like if somebody can just DDoS it? All right, let's see. We got 33K watching. Well, this is awkward. Epsilon, $5. I'm really important on Twitch is in the real space. The space is playing elevator music now. Okay, I'm really important on Twitch. Oh, on Twitch. Okay. Paluto Dop, it's hard to think one of the richest people on earth and an ex-president could be so darn incompetent. I was going through, I'm still doing I'm finishing up my research for the Synthetic Man piece, and I was in his Discord, and somebody was talking about how, like, they wish that they had, like, drive and ambition so they could be a billionaire, and I'm like, honey, that's not what billionaires do. Yeah, no, this is the exact same thing happened with the DeSantis thing. All right, who was the, who said, What was the name? Well, Mockingbird, yeah, I'll expand it for now, because the plan was, if those two fuckers ever did anything that worked, that I would be able to just play games and listen, like we did with the RNC when I was playing Metal Gear Solid 5. But I hit Taylor Zen, I hit 100K a couple days ago. It was like three or 4 days ago. All right, let's just do Trump, Elon. The quartering, fuck you. All right, what was the name of that one? I'm really important. Okay. Yeah, no, Scruffapone, Trump coming back to Twitter for this, hysterical. Trump, for the last, like, since he got banned, he's been trying to make Truth Social a thing. And Truth Social is, like, stop trying to make Truth Social a thing, honey. It has been hemorrhaging money.
your parents get old. Watch how expensive it is.
All right. I do not know who this is. I do not endorse. I should do this bit goal because I need money. Let's go. Let me lower the resolution a little bit. Let's just turn it down to 360 because I just want to hear it. What are we doing here? Come on. Alright, it's not working. You got in, it's just music. I'm like... Flames. TDOS Trump interview. Go to YouTube. Go to YouTube is trending. Jesus fuck. How? Oh my god. How fucked is it when you're trying to be like, yeah, we're gonna host this on X, the everything platform where we do video, and then on your platform, go to YouTube is trending. That's so fucking good. Elon claims it was tested with 8 million concurrent listeners. Bullshit. Bullshit. Is he saying the Democrats are behind it? Like, dude, what the fuck do the Democrats, like, what do Kamala and fucking Tim Walz have to fear from Trump? Like, literally everything Trump has done makes them look worse. Mizuki, thank you for subbing. Mrs. Gamera, thank you for subbing. Volcano, thank you for subbing. Unfucking believable. Let's, I guess, go to Donald J. Trump's space.
So, why did they not contact the authorities when they got hacked? That doesn't make sense. They say they don't trust. They don't trust the authorities. Microsoft themselves reported in June a presidential camera was hacked. I did read that, but they didn't say which one, and they didn't confirm what happened. And they didn't say if it was successful. They said there was an attempt. Microsoft, if I recall, maybe you read differently, but I recall Microsoft said that there was an attempted hack, but they didn't say if it was successful.
See, like, if there's a live event, it should be the fucking... Oh my god, I'm losing the
live
fucking...
still supposed to be on? I'm in the Twitter space right now, and this is what's playing.
Okay, hang on.
Kathy, thank you for the 22 months.
Alright, I'll pause you. I'm really important.
The DDoS thing is...
Okay, hang on. Whoa, we might have something. Hawktail Master, thank you for subscribing. Ganya12, thank you for subscribing. The Guy and Angry Froggo and Jester Clown and Westro. Did we get a raid and I just missed it? Yeah, DDoS is fucking hysterical, bro. So I can't fucking join any spaces, apparently.
Yes.
It has been a half hour
I
of
am
this,
in
bro.
the space. As you can see, look. I'm in the space. Over on the right, it's me, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Trump Train, Jersey Jerry's in here.
This guy's
Everybody
in.
loves
Okay,
Jersey
let's.
Jerry. Joe Exotic, the whole gang.
What do you want to bet Musk is going to go on a ketamine tangent
Like in
as
my
soon as
homie
it starts
lecture.
blaming
Lecture fan and I are
people?
friends.
All right, let's see if this guy has it.
I am not a communist either, okay?
Oh, hey, Jesse. Hey, Jesse Gender. Everybody in chat say hi to Jesse Gender. We don't have anything yet, so...
Still in it. Ay, ay, ay. Come on, Elon. We need to hear this interview. We've been waiting for about 35 minutes now. Still nothing here.
I'm gonna turn this up a little bit because this guy appears to have the same music.
You know, discussion. Still also.
Uh-oh. Thank you, West Row 1. I'm gonna close out the one Twitch chat because it seems like my stream is getting. Y'all can't do this to me. Come on. Oh, it's killing me. This is. Elon, I wish a pox upon ye. Just 1,000 times. Alright, I'm gonna lower the... I can't believe this is real. I can't believe this is real. I can't... Yeah, I wish we had more fun things to see too. Is this the new Norm's fault? Is that what you're insinuating? Why is Tom York? Elon is now claiming there will be a smaller spaces starting 2 minutes ago. It has not started. All right, well, let's go back over to Elon's Twitter. Yeehaw! Let's go on over. Like, here's the fucking crazy part. If odds are it's not going to be video. If it's Twitter Spaces, it's not going to be video. Like, they're not even... This and that. So I know a lot of people didn't watch it because whatever. Like, the only thing people heard about it was Hassan fucking with Aiden Ross about the campaign donation thing. But the Aiden Ross Trump video was likewise dog shit. Nobody noted it and it didn't make any headlines because nobody gave a fuck. But like, when you watched it, the audio quality was like super low. Like, all their mics were turned down way too low, and they had for like a good 20 minutes just the chat scrolling by being like, too low, can't hear. All right. 750,000, let's go. Oh my god, holy shit, fuck, let's go. This is the biggest interview in history, and now we're asking
for updates as well. We've got our bingo card ready to go.
Okay, so it decided to fucking go there. All right, well, I guess if we're in, we're in. Get out of here. Shut up. Welcome to Spaces. I know. Why is my other... Oh, okay, no, this is the shitty music. Okay, I'm like, why is it still... Is he... All right, well, we're in. That's the important part. It's at 750,000 when I got in. Who else do we got in here? We got... Oh, I'm number 3. Wow, I'm so honored. I deserve it, honestly, more than they do. Epsilon, thank you so much for $10. I'm a professional reliability engineer in a major tech company. They could have tested with 8 million, but didn't test properly. The problem seems to not be in the stream, but the database managing the stream. It's all Greek to me, honey, but it is, like, there is a non-zero chance. Oh, wait, hang on. The music stopped. Are we... Hold on to your butts. Sorry, I have a tick where if somebody quotes something to me, I have to say it in a character's voice. Don't get me started on Jurassic Park quotes. Svartman, thank you very much for following. Aliens and Jurassic Park quotes, I will go hard in. Elon left? Yo, how fucked up would it be if something glitched and it made me like a co-host? That would be so funny. All right, let's try it. I'm reloading. I'm rolling the fucking dice here. I'm rolling the dice. It's okay. Fuck it, we ball, right? I wonder if Cheeton, the crazy Japanese mascot, is listening. Cheeton is always listening. Okay, so it's not... Okay. Whew. All right, let's try getting in again. Yes. 879K. Whew. Trump muted himself. Okay, yeah, no, Elon's not here anymore, and Trump muted himself. This is... The unforced errors go crazy. I gotta say. I don't care. Stop it. Christ. All right, 900. Who else do we got here? Only the top 1,000 guests can be shown. Well, it's not showing me 1,000, so it's showing me like 12. That okay, whatever. Cheetolini, I will take out Cheetolini. I don't. Oh, yeah. Game over, man. Game over. This is... Bring the shitty music back. Like... It says recording. I guess... I don't want to leave. His handler left and now he can't speak. Yeah, no, it's just... It's been 40 minutes. It's been 40 minutes. Here's the thing. When I started this stream, I'm like, it'll go like an hour... and that'll be fine because I have a bunch of stuff I was gonna stream, but I have to repair because I have a friend coming over for the next week or so. If y'all follow a certain streamer that we sometimes raid on Twitter, you may know them, or you may know who's coming over to visit me. But so I have like other stuff to do a little bit. Christopher, my man, Elon is back in it. Let's fucking go. If you guys do want something very funny, the last like 15 minutes of the Aiden Ross Trump interview are very funny because it's just Aiden Ross with a shitty like phone camera recording from the inside of the stupid like Cybertruck he bought, and it's like a grandpa. It's literally like a grandson showing his grandpa how to work like a Bluetooth radio, because it's just Trump talking about like music and shit that he likes, and Aiden Ross is just like, yeah, just listening, like, yeah, even though you can tell he has no fucking idea what Trump is talking about. Oh, it's so good. He was so preoccupied whether or not he could. He never stopped to think whether or not he should. Now, what the hell are we going to use, man? Harsh language? See? I told you, I can't... You can't just keep spitting out quotes for me to read. Happy Monday. It's got to be Bratty. History's actor, how do you know? Is it because Bratty Sucky Boy put on their Twitter that they're coming? They're on a plane over here right now. This is a great interview. Some are saying it's the best interview. So many people watching, you wouldn't believe it. It's unbelievable how many people are watching this interview. The voter base is about to hit bedtime. Yes, true. Am I going to do a stream with them? Oh, God, it would be so funny. I would love, to do a stream with Elon. Like, the things... Elon would never, like, because he doesn't do hostile interviews. But... Like, I think Trump would be very funny, but Trump would just walk off because he's a diva. Oh, wait.
All right. Hello, everyone. My apologies for the late start. We unfortunately had a massive distributed denial of service attack against our servers, and saturated all of our data lines. Like,
bullshit.
Basically, hundreds of gigabits of data were saturated. Wait,
the fuck are you saying saturated? Get the fuck out of here.
And it's now time to proceed. But as this massive attack illustrates, there's a lot of opposition to people just hearing what President Trump has to say.
No, there's not. What the fuck are you talking about?
But I'm honored to have this
Dog
conversation.
says hello,
I want to emphasize it's a conversation. On stream. And it's really intended to just get a feel for what Donald Trump is just like in a conversation. It's hard to catch a vibe about someone if you just don't hear them talk in a normal way. And when there's an adversarial interview, like no one's themselves in an adversarial interview. And this is really aimed at kind of open-minded, independent voters who just trying to make up their mind. So you can understand, like, what is what is it just like to have a conversation? So, honored to Donald. Great to speak. We had a great conversation yesterday. As you mentioned yesterday, if we could just record that conversation and post it, it would have been excellent. And I hope we can have something like that today.
God, this is so...
Well, I think we will. I'm pretty sure we will.
Yeah, A&K, I already missed the silence.
I see you broke every record in the book with so many millions of people, and it's an honor. We view that as an honor.
So many millions of people. What is that again?
You do want silencing of certain voices. Usually those are voices that have something to say that are constructive, oftentimes constructive.
I guess it is a million listeners now.
We have to consider it an honor.
We broke every
congratulations
record.
on breaking every record in the book
listen
tonight.
And
That's
cope
great.
while I'm doing other stuff.
Maybe we could start off with, the assassination attempt, which was an incredible thing. And I have to say that, your actions after that assassination.
Sorry, I'm like, I can't just listen to him because there's obviously no prep going into this.
Down, you were pumping your fist in the air and saying fight, fight, fight. And I think that's,
Yeah, this is your girl Mott. This is fucking
the president
rough.
of the United States represents America, and I think that is.
Oh wow, does he?
That is America. That is strength
brilliant
under
insight,
fire.
bro.
And so that's a big part of the reason why I was excited to endorse you as the president of the United States for having another term here is that was just incredibly inspiring. But I mean, what was it like for you?
Not pleasant. I have to be honest. I said there was blood. I had more blood. I didn't know I had that much blood. The doctors later told me that the ear is a place.
It's
that
just
is,
so like they're so weird in such different ways.
You're gonna get hit. But in this case, it was probably the best alternative you could even think
so
about.
Much blood
because it went at the right angle, and it was a hard hit. It was
he is really getting.
I guess you would say
like
surreal,
old
but
man
it wasn't
brained
surreal.
in a way that
you know,
he's
I
absolutely
was
not.
Telling somebody you have instances like this, or like a lot less than this, where you feel it's a surreal situation, and I never felt that way. I knew immediately that it was a bullet. I knew immediately that it was at the ear.
Yeah. And
because it hit very hard, but hit the ear. And I also heard people shout, "Bullets, bullets!" Get down, because I moved down pretty nicely, pretty quickly, and we had bullets flying right over my head after I went down. So I'm glad I went down. The bigger miracle was that I was looking in the exact direction of the shooter, and so it hit.
I'm so glad that we get to hear this another fucking
far
time.
Far less destructive than any other angle. So that was the miracle. That was for those people that don't believe in God. I think we got to all start thinking about that. You have to, I'm a believer now. I'm more of a believer, I think, and a lot of people have said that to me. A lot of great people have said that to me, actually. But it was amazing that I happened to be turned just at that perfect angle. And
he's literally saying it was God.
Put down a chart on immigration that showed that the numbers were so great. I love that chart even more now.
Maybe it's a sign. Maybe that's a sign.
It's an immigration sign.
Neither of you two have fucking
a serious issue. And
yeah.
at that moment.
That's right.
The bullet, Mr. Hit your ear.
Volcano, when he was shot at, he was showing a chart on immigration, which is what he was looking over to.
The sign, I said, bring down that sign on immigration.
And he hasn't even talked about the dude who died, has he?
Literally about an eighth of a second where it would be good, and after that it was going to be a disaster, no matter which way you were facing. But it just had that perfect angle, which was exactly at this shooter. Very sad situation. Such a sad situation. As you know, we lost somebody that was great, Corey, a firefighter, a great gentleman, a great Trumper. He was just a fantastic family,
defining
and a fantastic
somebody
man. And
not as a father first,
Elon, and said,
but
I'd
as
like to give
Trumper,
the family some kind of
craven.
Help.
Disgusting. Dominic Maslick, thank you for $1.99. This interview is just twin turbo cringe, yet still going so slow.
Gave it to the wife, and she said, "This is really nice, but I'd rather have my husband back," which is a nice thing for somebody to say, to be honest. She's great. The family is great, and we raised a lot of money for them and for two other gentlemen are unbelievable people. Also, they were hit really badly. They thought they were not going to make it, and they did. The doctors in the Butler area, I tell you, they were incredible. They saved the two, and they were really hit tough, both of them equally. And we thought, my first question was, because I heard bullets flying over me, and I said, how many people were killed? Because we had a massive crowd there, a tremendous, thousands and thousands of people.
Draxus Stormscale, why are they talking about the assassination gang? Because it's literally all he has.
How many people have been killed?
Like every other point that Trump can get to is just regurgitating, just playing the same fucking hits again and again. Like from the border to Biden bad, like none of it fucking works anymore. People are so bored of it. It's literally all he has.
He didn't know there was a problem. He's an extraordinary
also
shot,
Nelson J.D.
obviously.
Trump really wants someone to care that
and he was able to pick it all out.
Wants people to care
seconds,
that someone tried to kill him.
And he used one bullet from
really
very far away. I guess probably about 400 yards. The shooter was 130, but he was on the he was on the opposite side of the field and the podium, and he saw the smoke and the flame from the gun. Immediately recognized
smoke and the flame
and
from
immediately took a shot. and it was one perfect shot from very far away. And if he didn't do that, Elon, he would have. I mean, if he would have, a lot more people could have been badly hurt and killed. So I have to take my hat off to him, because that's also a surreal. You know, he's been with them for 23 years, and he's never had anything like this. And all of a sudden he has to act, and it's a very tough thing to act and to be shooting somebody. But he saw the gun, saw the smoke, saw the flame from the gun.
I heard Steve say 100 biddies. I've seen Chatterbait people wank themselves off less than these two. Thank you for the 100 biddies. You're not wrong.
But he
like it is.
And
it's just Trump bloviating and Elon going, yeah, totally,
range,
absolutely,
one bullet.
yeah.
If that didn't happen,
it's unironically the meme about like two people going
with him. So
exactly.
Well, I mean, that's clearly, he was very competent in taking that shot to stop the
no, you can't. 36. What character Loki looks like me?
But I mean, there does seem to be. I mean. Some pretty significant failings elsewhere in the system. Like this,
I think it's just the terrible Twitter quality, Rabini baby.
A shooter get on a roof 130 yards away. That seems crazy. I think most people people are wondering how on earth could such a thing happen.
Well, you know, I view it as two ways. There should have been nobody on the roof. There were people because there were so many tens of thousands of people there. There were people that were seeing him.
Okay, Mo, this is Midnight Suns.
There was one woman with a red shirt and Trump all over it.
Oh, the one I'm controlling? Oh, thank you, the hunter.
Well, that guy's got a gun. You know, you saw it probably.
There's
a guy up there with a gun.
I mean, it's like, I guess, I mean, for my part, and I think probably many members of the public are wondering how the heck are, basically people wandering by pointing out there's a guy on the roof with a gun. And they're seeing it, but somehow
this is just Elon repeating his libs of TikTok conspiracies.
That does seem crazy.
Well, they're going to learn from this. The communication between the local police, who sort of had an idea, and then ultimately a man lifted himself up to the roof, could barely do it because he was pulling himself up, and he saw the man with the gun. The man with the gun pointed the gun at him. He thought he was probably going to get shot, but he was like pulling himself up. And because of that, he couldn't get to his gun, and he fell down, actually very badly hurt his
Two-Plot didn't watch, thank you for subscribing.
His ankle, I hear very badly.
Penitent Thought, thank you for subscribing. Shugs80, thank you for subscribing.
From what I understand, he did say there's a guy up there with a gun.
Yeah, no, our cops can barely do pull-ups. That's what you're saying there, buddy.
The shooting started very quickly after that. I think it forced the shooter to go maybe quicker. He was supposed to be a very good shot.
Yeah.
My sons, Don and Eric, they can't believe what happened, but they said from 130 yards, a bad shot would hit that target almost every time. They said it's like in golf, sinking a 2-foot putt.
Yeah, it's not a tough shot.
It's not a long shot. The Secret Service person had the long shot. He had triple the distance actually. So it was a terrible thing. Look. It's hard. I have to say this about the Secret Service. When I went down, and I went down based on.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's either the.
But other people also, because people saw this happen. You had so many people. One of the miracles was that
I wouldn't be surprised
ran.
if it's.
If a gun goes off,
if he is filtered, or if it's just how shitty Twitter Spaces is.
When guns go off, and it does happen in stadiums at a soccer match or some kind of a match, everybody flees. They call it a stampede, like cattle.
Yeah,
but
no. Blair Blahaj, Don Jr. is not done. Is not an outdoorsman. Like, please. Come now, do not insult me.
Or these games.
Robo Twilight, this conversation feels like it's going in circles. Yeah, I mean, that seems to be like Elon's entire.
That was full.
Like aim with this
you look at it
is to literally just he said he didn't want an interview, he didn't want it to be adversarial, he wanted it to be just a conversation to know how Trump talks. This is not a good example of how it is a good example of how Trump talks. This is not a appealing, this does not make Trump look good.
As far as the eye could see, you had people in Butler, as far as the eye could see, and a lot of press too. There were many cameras on watching this. It's what makes it so different, because normally things happen that aren't good, but you never have a picture of it. Here we have all these cameras shooting it. So, you know, sort of amazing. But one of the interesting things was that you didn't have anybody flee. You didn't have anybody stampede.
Sure.
Nobody. And there were some people behind me, they stood up and they're looking like, you know, I mean, I'll tell you, you want to have them in a foxhole with you. I want to meet some
what
of
do
those
you call
people.
a two-way circle jerk? Is
so
it just a
different
line?
from
Probably.
what you heard. But so I was down, but the Secret Service guys, there were bullets flying right over my head. You could hear them go whizzing. And these guys came jumping on top of me, and a young lady, Kate, would jump. They moved so fast, and let me tell you, that took tremendous courage. Now, there was a lack of coordination. There was, you know, obviously everybody understands that that building should have been covered. And
I mean,
that was the big thing.
Like, I mean, looking at the aerial views, that building would be
fucking
like the number
Elon
one
Musk
spot
just
for a
coming in
sniper.
with
I mean,
Porky
it's like
Pig.
If you were to pick, like, what is
fucking
the favorite,
trying to again, it is his the libs of TikTok shit.
What's your favorite spot? That building. The roof of that building would be number one.
That would have been the spot.
It's like you can ask for a better location. It's like number one.
That would have been the spot. You know what people think is when the local policeman, who by the way, you know, he really. He did what
Angry
he was
Froggo.
supposed to do.
It does
He couldn't
kind of
hold
seem
on
like
any
I don't
longer.
think it's evolving.
And then
I
when
think
he
just has
peeking
new
above,
shit that he's kind of learned
this guy's
about
standing
it.
there with a gun at his head.
Like I don't think so.
When he fell down again, hurt his ankle very badly, but he was making the calls. But what happened is the firing took place
But
very
like it
soon.
does seem like, do we know where Trump is now? Probably at
This guy
Mar-a-Lago.
ran to his site, which he had all
Why is
planned
Ghost
out
Rider
with the
so
gun.
OP right now? Ghost Rider's always OP.
He ran to the site and he started shooting fast, and maybe that's why.
That's how Ghost Rider does.
He well, he sort of missed. I mean, you know, he
but as
got
you said,
me, but
you
it
would have hit.
could have been a much bigger problem.
But he totally would have hit if you hadn't turned your head. So, like, you know, there was it was a very near thing.
It was a miracle. If I hadn't turned my head,
yeah,
I would not be talking to you right now. As much as I like.
Oh God,
you.
we all know what a terrible just
talking to me from another realm.
That would be.
That's right. We'd be talking from a different place. But
what?
It was
be talking from a different.
It was a very terrible experience.
The Trump just inferred that he might be a
great job.
He would be
the
as a ghost.
So good. Everybody was so good.
Obadiah Bumbley, thank you for $5. So this is what he meant by full throated. Yeah, no, this is they're all up and down each other. Yeah, like Volcano. I wasn't mishearing that, right?
You know that story now.
It's like I would have been talking to you from another place, perhaps a Ouija board over Twitter Spaces.
Said, you know, like there'd be a lightning storm or something. Because I've done.
Bro, what?
I think over 300. I think I did a lot more than that, but. We did a lot, and oftentimes they'll say, "Sir, could you wait 10 minutes, please? Sir, could you wait 20 minutes? There's a storm overhead or lightning or something, right?" And that happens often. Yeah. And this would have been a perfect time for that to have happened, but it didn't. It didn't get coordinated. That was the problem.
Well, it was your. I think your actions in the heat of fire, and you know, like. What I found admirable there was that you can't fake bravery under such circumstances. The courage.
Bravery. He didn't. He fled off the stage. What the fuck are you talking about?
So I just want to say that I think a lot of people admire your courage under fire there. And so
thank you very much. I appreciate it. I didn't think of it. I just wanted to get up, and I wanted to stand up. I wanted to let people know. You know, I felt I was good when they were. On top of me, covering me, actually, very much covering me, and very bravely. But I wanted to get up. I said, I want to get up.
Like he literally is. He's like glazing Trump as if he's like a troop or something.
They have.
I saw that somebody broke into Trump's
like
campaign office.
And I knew I was hit in the ear, but I knew I wasn't hit anywhere else. They felt I was hit someplace else because it was such a lot of blood, and they were sure that I was hit someplace else. And they were saying, "Sir, you were hit in more than the ear." I said, "Nope. I was hit in the ear. I want to get up. Let me get up." And so I got up, and the crowd didn't know what to think.
There's no way that happened. There's no way that in like the 30 seconds they were down there.
They were confused. They didn't know what to think.
They were like, "Oh, sir, you're hit in worse."
I wanted to let them know I was okay.
Come on.
I was very.
You can hear Trump say,
"It
has been."
And they went wild
Since
they didn't.
Let's call it the
event. When I got up because they didn't know.
Trump's age has been more and more readily apparent. It's fucking crazy.
Before the fist in the air.
Like I've talked about it before, but I think it's partially that we don't have Biden to make him look worse.
When I put the fist up, they were just relieved and happy and thrilled, and the place went crazy. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It was a terrible thing, but it was
incredibly moving. Yeah.
Incredibly moving.
Well, and I mean, speaking of the sort of slide that got you to turn that saved your life, really, was the illegal immigration slide. Maybe this,
Mr. Opie, thank you for 5 months.
It's worth talking about that.
Oh yeah, no, Elon, please, let's talk about your fucking bizarre racist crusade.
Illegal immigration saved my life. You're right, but it was, I had to be at that exact angle.
I mean, that's a great one. saved by illegal immigration.
You know, the incredible thing, though, when you talk about the odds, you had to be exactly at that angle. But the incredible thing is that the chart, I used it less than 20% of the time. It was just a moment.
Yeah.
It's always on my left, never my right, and it's always at the end of the speech. So here we have it. It's on the right, not the left. It's at the beginning, not the end. And even the people that put it up, they were unprepared, and they did a great job. They got it up immediately, fortunately. But I looked to the right, and the bullet came whizzing by, hitting my ear. So it was amazing. But when you think of the odds of that, and you know that normally you wouldn't use it. Normally I wouldn't have the thing, and then it would have been a very different story.
Damn, I wish I was.
It's very much. I say an act of God. It's a miracle that it happened,
didn't think
I'm honored by
it could get as bad as like.
Well, what
fucking
what
the Aiden Ross interview, because that was so bad.
You were rudely interrupted.
Well, I was going to say how good the
dude.
numbers were. By the way, we're going back to Butler, and we're going to go back in October. We're all set up, and the people are fantastic in Butler. It's a great area. These are incredible people. Like the three that.
No, he's doing all right. Now he's going off on his tangent. He's doing his. He said, by the way, so he's just going free association. And Elon, because Elon is not a good interviewer.
I think I'll probably start
Elon will acquiesce. Elon has that fucking like Aiden. It's actually fitting that Aiden Ross also interviewed him, because Elon has that Aiden Ross syndrome where he will just grovel to anybody he thinks is more of an alpha.
But no, but the chart.
Some people have no manners.
Elon, the chart was just a chart that. In my last week, we had the best illegal immigration numbers, meaning stopping. It was at the lowest. You've seen the chart. It's become quite a famous chart. But that was the lowest point ever recorded. It was a really, I was very proud of those numbers. And then you see what happened with these people, Kamala and Joe. You see what happened. They just let it go. I had remain in Mexico policies. I had all these different policies.
No, he's still
good.
Going off on the chart. How long? Oh
guys
my God.
like Tom Holman and Brandon Judd from Border Patrol. These are all people that they've been on television. They said it's the best numbers we've ever had. We had so many different checks, catch and release in Mexico, not the United. We had catch and release in the United States. We had it in Mexico. We had so many things. We had things where many people come in there, they have contagious diseases. We had everything passed. If you have a contagious disease, I'm sorry, but we cannot allow you into the country. So we were setting literally records.
Why would you?
And
why would you laugh at that, Elon?
I use it sometimes, and in this case, I'm
like
glad
a ton of people died. What fuck?
That, but they were fantastic numbers. But I'm going to sleep with that chart always. I'll be sleeping with that chart. That chart was very important. Very important for a lot of reasons.
Well, I mean, would it be accurate to say that you're supportive of?
Considering it's a new chart, it wouldn't be the first time Trump slept with something that
also need to shut down
was under the age of consent,
and especially unvetted illegal immigration, because and that's not the same as saying that everyone who's an illegal immigrant is bad. In fact, I think most people who are illegal immigrants are actually good, but you can't tell the difference unless there's a solid vetting of who comes across the border.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Does that accurately represent your position?
I say it very simply. They have to come in legally. They have to be checked.
Yeah.
Because look, Kamala was the border czar. Now she's denying it. Everything that I did.
Another assassination attempt.
She's saying she was strong on the border. We're going to be strong. Well. She doesn't have to say it. She could close it up right now. They could do things right now. It's horrible. No tax on tips, and all of a sudden she's making a speech and there will be no tax on tips. I said that months ago. And by the way, they had just the opposite. You know, they had not only tax on tips, but they hired 88,000 IRS agents, and many of them were assigned to go get waitresses and caddies. And
Elon is a secret commie trying to bore him to death.
He's
trying to bore the audience to death, I feel like. This is
going to go after you, and we're really harassing
just
people
rancid,
horribly.
bro.
And then all of a sudden, for politics, she says, you know, she comes out with what I said, which I think is terrible, and I think it's also hitting them very hard. These people are fake. Now they're also saying they did a good job on the border. We had the worst numbers in the history of the world, not of our country. There's never been a country in history that has had a catastrophe like this. We've had, I believe, and I think you believe this too, you know, you hear 12 million, 13. I believe it's over 20 million people came into our country, many coming from jails, from prisons, from
I believe. Do we have any sort? By the way, no, there is not a source for this. The idea of like people coming in from jails and being just let loose in America.
And I'll tell you what,
literally no
not
basis
just from
in fact.
South America. They're coming from Africa. They're coming from all over the world. They're coming from Asia. They're coming from the Middle East. They're coming from countries that are.
How the fuck are people coming
stupidly and horribly
crossing over the border from
Israel,
Africa?
October 7th. They're coming from all over the world. And you know, you look at. It's so sad, October 7th, because it should have never happened.
Yeah.
It's so sad when you look at Ukraine. It should have never happened. We have a defective government. These are defective people, and they're not people that should be running it. But where you see it the best is the border, because you had...
They're coming from
you
Japan.
have millions of people coming in.
You can't make this up. You absolutely can,
she gets up
because
and
they
she
are.
tries to pretend like she's going to do something.
Africa
For
borders
3.5
America. We
years.
all know this.
And by the way, they have another 5 months that they can do something, but they won't do anything. It's all talk. She's incompetent and he's incompetent. And frankly, I think that she's more incompetent than he is. And that's saying something, because he's not too good.
Has he said Tim Walz yet?
No,
remember last time when I was like, I don't think he knows Tim Walz's name?
To have a secure border. I mean, you're really not a country unless you have a secure border. And
secure elections, too.
You know, absolutely secure elections. And so it's just essential to have a real border, or we can't function as a country, and our service, you know, our central services are being overwhelmed in a lot of cities. I
think he was saying that Kamala. I think he said she is more competent than he is.
Process that is smooth and efficient and done well. And I'm speaking as someone who is a legal immigrant, I think that. I mean, like one way to think of it is, who do you want on your team? You know, who do you want on Team America? And I think we want to just say, okay, we want to let in people who are gonna, you know, be great contributors to our society and to our economy, and you know, and who do you want on the team? And it's not to say that, like in my opinion, actually, I'd say like probably most of the illegal immigrants actually are actually good, hardworking people. That's my opinion. But some are not, and you just have this sort of adverse selection process where, you know, if somebody's, you know, if somebody's like has a career in theft or robbery, I don't understand what's taken them so long to get here. Because we're such a target-rich environment.
What?
I mean, you know, why aren't more people who have a career in, you know, bad things coming here sooner? Because it's a piece of cake to go rob, you know, houses in
oh my god,
LA or
oh my
New
god,
York,
he's so fucking stupid. He's so fucking stupid.
And in a lot of places in America, if you try to stop the person who's robbing you, you'll be arrested.
Yeah.
He's debunking his own conspiracies.
Right. I mean,
he is debunking his own conspiracies by asking.
And our police are so good, but they're not allowed
why,
to do their job.
if it's
But I have
so
to tell you,
easy
Elon,
to move here and steal shit, and all these immigrants are doing it, and which he thinks is a real thing, because he has no experience with regular people. He doesn't walk the fucking street. He doesn't fucking have, like, all he has is like libs of TikTok sharing random stories of like immigrants who do crimes. And so he is asking, if it's so common that all these immigrants are doing crimes, why don't more people come and do them?
They're taking their drug dealers. They're taking,
You are so-
frankly,
he's
their
so
prisoners.
fucking
They're
dumb.
emptying out their prisons.
It's because not
They're
that many
taking,
people are
their
doing
criminals,
them.
They're murderers.
Elon.
They're rapists. And
It's
they're-
because you are seeing a
they're
very
delivering
select
them into-
group.
That's what
fuck, man.
Castro did.
Yeah, well, he did
Yeah,
on a much smaller scale.
Yeah.
You know, it was a much smaller
Yeah.
scale. But this is a massive scale because this is being done worldwide. But
I
here's
can't-
what's happening: crime all over the world is down. And wait till you see the numbers that we have. You know, this is migrant crime. This is crime that's going to be.
Yeah.
And I saw it today in New York, where somebody was knifed with raped the girlfriend of a man that stood there
Jesus
watching
Christ.
in New York in one of the shelters, and started
Sure.
pulling out the knives. And bad things happen today. But this is happening every day. These are rough people. These are people that are in jail for murder and all sorts of things, and they're releasing them into our country, and they're telling them, if you come back, we're going to kill you. We're going to give you the death penalty or kill you. So they don't want to come back. But these are
Trump,
rough people.
he
These are
is so
criminals that make
disgusting
our
about, like, he
criminals look
literally,
like
he
nice
has no
people. And it's horrible
concept
what
of,
they're
like,
doing.
trauma.
And
like, it's
she's
all
in
a
charge
fucking,
of it
like,
because,
video,
you know, now
or
she's
not
trying
video
to
game,
say
but,
she
like,
had
it's all a
nothing
fucking
to
movie
do
to
with it.
him.
And she's such a liar because she was called the border czar the first day, and it was on the headlines of every newspaper. She's the border czar, and she never even went there. She went to one location which had nothing to do with where the problem is. You know, she went in and out, I
Right.
guess, because she was getting a lot of pressure, but
Yeah.
had nothing to do with the problem
Yeah.
is. But she was the
Well-
border czar, and people
Yeah, yeah.
can't allow them to get away with their disinformation campaign. Now she's trying to say that she wasn't.
Still on the fucking-
she
again,
wasn't
this is, like,
really
one of the
involved.
two
and
things
the
he
whole
fucking
thing
has
is
right
horrible.
now.
She was totally in charge. She could have shut the border down without him. He didn't know what he was doing anyway, so he wouldn't have even known
Yeah.
what happened. You could shut the border down. He
Yeah.
wouldn't even know the difference.
Christ
But
alive, dude.
the fact is that she was border czar. But if you don't have to call her
Yes.
that, the fact is you could just call her. She was in charge of the border, and the border was the worst
Right.
ever.
It's simply not working.
No, it's horrible.
Whether it's a question of intention or competence, either way, we don't have a secure border, and we have people streaming over like it looks like a World War Z zombie apocalypse at times. And you know, sometimes you got to sort of wonder, like, is it real or not? So because you see things, you're like, is it real? So I went to the border at Eagle Pass, and I saw for myself in Texas, and I was like,
oh, please
okay,
show
it's
that
real.
picture,
I'm
Elon.
like seeing this in real
Show
time. I
that
actually posted the
fucking
video
picture
like
of you,
just
dude.
live. I just flew there one day and just to see, hey, is this made up or real? And I'm just seeing people stream across the border, and I have to say, you know, at least the people that I saw did not look friendly. You know,
These are
people
people.
can
You
look
don't
at my
like
video
taking
and
the
say,
bus
hey,
because you
these
think people are
people
not
look
friendly.
I don't look super friendly.
Fucking
so,
These are
dork.
people that Elon would not be the same man if he had to walk across the street and look these people in the eye. These are rough people. These are really rough people coming across. And I know rough people. And these are
I know
people
rough-
that we don't want in our country.
How do you know rough people,
And, you know, the
Donnie?
caravans are coming in, and they're putting... And who's doing this are the
World War
heads of
Z
the
on our
countries.
border.
And you would be doing
Yeah.
it, and so would I. And everyone would say, oh, what a terrible thing to say. The fact is, it's brilliant for them.
Yeah, no,
because they're
straight up,
taking all of their,
friendly equals not white
bad
to
people,
them.
really bad people. And I hate to say this, the reason the numbers are much bigger than you would think is they're also taking their non-productive people. Now, these aren't people that will kill you. We have enough of them. But these are people that are non-productive.
Apparently, we don't have enough of them because
They're
Elon
just
doesn't know. Well,
non-productive.
if
I
there's
mean,
so
for
many,
whatever
why aren't
reason,
there
they're
that
not
many?
workers, or they don't want to work, or
Christ.
whatever. And these countries are getting rid of non-productive people in the caravans in many cases, and they're also getting rid of their murderers and their drug dealers and the people that are really brutal people. And they're coming into our country at levels that have never been seen before. And I saw an ad just before I got on the air. I'm walking over
Got
here,
on the air.
and I saw an ad by Kamala saying how she is going to provide border security. Where has she been for 3.5 years? For 3.5 years,
Yeah, no,
we have 20
No,
million
this is
people
like
border.
straight up the white nationalist
I think
blood and
this-
soil
frankly,
bullshit that everybody kind
I
of
think
fucking
this is a
expects at this
fundamental
point.
existential issue for the United States.
Okay, let's not use
And
words
if
you
we
don't
have
know what
another
they mean,
4 more
Elon.
years of open borders, and it's going to be even worse with another 4 more years. It's going to be even worse than it's been for the past 3.5 years. I'm not sure we've got a country.
You don't
left
have a country
at that
left.
point.
Elon, if they get in, you will have 50 to 60 million people from all over the world, not South America only. You know, we think of South America, we think of Honduras and El Salvador, Guatemala, and Mexico. You know, the four. But it's not that. It's everywhere. They're coming in from everywhere. And I had to stay in Mexico.
Yeah, I think this is a super important.
Oh yeah,
point.
no, this
like,
shit
people,
definitely like this has started to scare off more and more normies for sure.
From it's like almost no one was from Mexico.
No, Mexico less.
It's just the border. It's just the border with Mexico, but the people coming in, it's
where the fuck
Earth,
are these 60 million
the
people?
Rest of Earth.
Who can say?
And America
Who can
is
say?
only, about 4 or 5% of the population of Earth. It would only take a few percent of the rest of Earth to overwhelm everything in the US.
We're already overwhelmed, Elon. We're overwhelmed. You had to see the news tonight about New York, and I love that place. And what they're doing to it is horrible. What they're doing to it, and all the courts do is they try and focus on Trump. Okay, let's focus on Trump, who did nothing wrong. I complain about a rigged election. Elon, what's happened is unbelievable. You have from Africa. From the Congo, they're coming. From the Congo. 22 people came in from the Congo recently, and
oh my
God,
murderers. Holy shit, Cindy Jen, thank you so much for gifting a tier 1 sub to Metallic Madness, your girl Bath, Stardust Clown, Captain Gravy Boat, and Clockwork Animal. Thank you guys so much.
But they take them out of jails, prisons. They take them out and they bring them to the United States.
42.
They deposit them in the United States and say, "Don't ever come back, or you're going to be executed."
Metal Luna, I don't fucking.
And they don't want to come back, but they won't come back.
Sure.
But they're coming from Africa. They're coming from Asia. They're coming from the Middle East. They're coming from South America.
Well,
they're coming from everywhere,
basically.
And there are a lot of really bad ones.
It's just an everywhere on Earth thing, and it's just not possible for the United States to absorb everyone from Earth, or even a few percent of the rest of Earth. It's just not possible. So,
well, Elon, we're going to have to finish this up. We're going to have the largest deportation in history of this country, and we have no choice. Otherwise, we're going to have a country. What they've done to our country. Think of it, with in Venezuela and in some of these other countries, crime is down 50, 60, 70, 80%. And you would be the same. You would have.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Venezuela has not gotten rid of all of them. They've gotten rid of about 70% of their really bad people. Their
Venezuela,
50% put into the United States.
That's the example you want to pick?
Some are at 30%, some are at 50%. They're all different. But the bottom line is they're all going to be at 100%. Why wouldn't you put 100% of it? And they're doing it right now.
Oh, almost certainly, Sandy John.
Third-rate phony candidate. Don't forget, I beat Biden. He failed in the debate miserably. And, some people said, oh, gee, it's too bad. It's too bad he did so badly, or I did well in the debate. The first night...
He does sound like he's slurring, actually.
One of the people at CNN said, that was the greatest debate performance I've ever witnessed. And then 2 days later, they didn't talk about that. They just said he was bad.
No, see, and then he's going back to, he just can't get over the fact that they took Biden out, and he feels betrayed because he knows Kamala's going to kick his ass.
We cannot have her. She's incompetent. She's as bad as Biden in a different... Look, she hasn't done an interview since this whole scam started. And say what you want. This was a coup. This was a coup of a president of the United States. He didn't want to leave, and they said, we can do it the nice way, or we can do it the hard way.
Yeah, they just took him out back behind the shed and basically shot him.
What they did with this guy, and I'm no fan of his, and he was a horrible president, the worst president in history. And one of the reasons he was so bad, first of all, the Israeli attack would have never happened.
They took Biden out back and shot him? What the fuck?
And we'd have no inflation. And we wouldn't have had the Afghanistan mess, if you think of it.
Well,
and we wouldn't have had Afghanistan. But we think of it. You take a few of those events away, and we have a different world. We would also have inflation was caused by oil.
I'm just like
I think you're making an excellent point here, which is that when other countries can, that are thinking about invading or doing bad things, when they're thinking about that, they're thinking about.
I'm fucking flabbergasted right now, dude.
And do they fear the American president, or is it someone they do not respect and do not fear? And I think they would rightfully be. I mean, look at the footage with the assassination. They're like, okay, President Trump is like, don't mess with me. I mean, that's like. Whereas I think people are not going to be, and they obviously have not been at all intimidated by Biden, and they certainly will not be intimidated by Kamala. And you have to really think of that in the context.
Who are you trying to intimidate?
Security. That if the American president is someone that, like, evil dictators are scared of, that makes a huge difference
evil
to
dictators?
the security of the world.
So I had a good
God,
relationship
Elon, you were
with
so
Putin,
fucking
despite
stupid,
the
you
Russia
goddamn
hoax
simp.
that lasted for over 2 years. Just a hoax created by Hillary Clinton and Adam Shifty Schiff, some just bad people, just sick people.
Trump was
frankly.
like best friends with
Schiff
Kim
is a
Jong
sick
Un.
person. He's going to end up
Famously,
probably being
he
a
has
senator.
advocated for
it's
Putin.
Hard to believe. The whole thing is hard to believe. But
like,
they put our country in danger with that stuff too. They actually, when they make up stories, and you have to fight your way out of it for a long time. But I know Putin very well. I got along with him very well. He respected me, and it's just one of those
he's
things.
literally saying, "I got along with Putin
we would
very
talk
well."
A lot about Ukraine. It was the apple of his eye. But I said, don't ever do it. Don't ever do it.
Bullshit.
I shut down Nord Stream 2. That was the big oil pipeline, the biggest pipeline in the world going all over Europe. I shut it down. Biden came, and then they say, I loved Russia. I was a friend of Putin, and I loved Russia. No, he actually.
You
said
literally
to me one
just
time,
said
he
you
said,
got
"If you're my
along with
friend,
him.
I'd
What the
hate to
fuck are
see
you
as an
talking
enemy."
about?
I shut down his pipeline. The biggest pipeline.
Why then
they were
does
looking at
every
that
fucking
fund,
conservative
and
love Putin
this
so fucking much?
Pathetic president gets in there, and the first thing he did, one of the early things he did, is he shut down Keystone XL pipeline, which is our pipeline that would have employed 48,000 people, pipeline workers. Shuts it down. That was, a massive job that Obama refused to allow.
Yeah.
I allowed it in my first week because it was jobs and it moved oil. And by the way, in a much more environmentally friendly way. It's underground. It's not a truck that catches on fire or a train that catches on fire. But think of it. He shut down the XL pipeline, the Keystone XL pipeline.
Yeah.
He shuts that down, and he approves the Russian pipeline.
Yeah, it doesn't make
imagine
sense.
that. How crazy.
It's inconsistent. Certainly,
what do you mean
but
inconsistent?
I think it's just worth emphasizing, to listeners, the immense importance of whether the United States president is intimidating or not intimidating.
You're not. Neither of you are intimidating. What the fuck do you know about being intimidating, Elon?
There's some real tough characters out there, and if they don't think the American president is tough, they will do what they want to do.
I know every one of them.
And that puts the whole world in danger.
Elon, I know every one of them, and I know them well. I know Putin, I know President Xi, I know Kim Jong Un of North Korea. I know every one of them. And let me tell you, people will say, oh, this is terrible. He said, I'm not saying anything good or bad. They're at the top of their game. They're tough. They're smart.
I'm not saying anything good or bad. Here's how tough and smart they are.
Whether they love their country, they probably do. It's just a different form of love, but they're going to protect their country. But these are tough people at the top of their game. And when they see a Kamala or when they see Biden, Sleepy Joe, they can't even believe it. They can't believe this happened. All the stuff that you're seeing now, all the horror that you look at Israel, they're all waiting for an attack from Iran. Iran would not be attacking, believe me. When I was there.
Yeah, luck draw. This is Midnight Suns.
With respect, because I think we would have been good
he
with
can't
Iran. I don't
not
want to do anything
fucking
bad to Iran, but they knew not to mess around. Iran was broke because I told China, if you buy from Iran oil, it's all about the oil. That's where the money is. But if you buy oil from Iran, you're not going to do any business with the United States. And I meant it. And they said, we'll pass.
Yeah.
They didn't buy oil. Other countries, likewise.
Sure.
You want to buy, you're not doing business with the United States. And they were at a point where they had no money for Hamas. They had no money for Hezbollah. They had no money for any of these instruments of terror. And it was amazing. In fact, there were articles
he's
when
making
I was
his
leaving,
case that
if
he was president, Israel October 7th wouldn't have happened.
Our country is so bad right now. It's such a different place.
Like that's what he's saying right now.
Think of it. 4 years ago, we were so respected to a point where when I said don't buy oil, they didn't buy oil. But they had no money, and Israel would have never been attacked. It is zero chance. And again, I said to Vladimir Putin, I said, don't do it. You can't do it, Vladimir. You do it, it's going to be a bad day. You cannot do it. And I told him things that what I do.
God damn it.
And he said, no way. And I said, way. And it's the last time we ever had the conversation.
How you talk to Vladimir Putin.
I got along well with him. I hope to get along well with him again. Getting along well with them is a good thing, not a bad thing. I got along well with Kim Jong Un. When I met with President Obama just before entering. You know, it's a sort of a ritual. And I sat down with him and we talked. It was supposed to be for a very short period of time. It turned out to be a long period of time. I said, what's the biggest problem? He said, North Korea. I had that problem worked out very quickly. It was nasty at the beginning with Rocket Man and, you know, all the different things.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I got a call.
Those were some epic
Electro,
tweets,
I haven't noted, like, he does sound
he said,
like his dentures aren't in right or
red
something. He
button
just
on his
sounds
desk. I said,
off.
I have a red button on my desk, too, but my red button is much
Oh,
bigger.
great.
and
Got
my
it.
red button
Playing the
works.
hits again.
And then
Playing
I
the
called
hits
him
again.
Little
Let's
Rocket
go.
Man of Little Rocket Man. Anyway, here's the bottom line. All of a sudden, I got a call from him, and they said they want to meet. They want to meet me. And we met, as you remember, we met in Singapore. We met also in Vietnam. And
as you remember,
I got along with
definitely
him.
remember.
We were in no danger. But President Obama thought we were going to end up in a war. A nuclear war with him, and let me tell you, he's got a lot of nuclear stuff.
Yeah, okay. So people are
he can do plenty of damage.
saying it's the audio compression, but suffering succotash.
You know, I mean, people like Kim Jong Un, they respond to strength, not weakness.
Well,
and
he and I had a good
What the fuck do you people like? Neither of you know anything about this shit. God, y'all have been spending too much fucking time hanging out with Jordan Peterson.
I wouldn't say. Let's bring up Secret Service again. I wouldn't say they were thrilled when I did that. I walked onto his land, and it was an amazing period. But we were not in danger with him because of me.
Okay, yeah, I think 100% oxygen, you might be right.
We have enemies on the outside and we have enemies on the inside. We have some really bad people in our government and people that are, and controlling of the people. I mean, I'd mention names, but I really don't want to give them the credit. But we have some really bad, and I say they're more dangerous than Russia and China. If you have a smart president, a president that gets it, we are not in danger from those countries because they need us and they need our help. I mean, we forced Obama, if you think about it, Obama and Biden.
If you think about it.
And Bush to a certain extent, in all fairness.
What?
Forced Russia and China together. And if you're a history student, the first thing you learn is you cannot let Russia and China align. But then they also got...
When have Russia and China ever aligned?
And they have North Korea.
What?
That's...
If you're a history student?
Of evil. In the old days, you had the axis of evil. Here we have a modern-day axis of evil. These are powerful countries, very heavy nuclear, which is the biggest threat.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest threat is not global warming, where the ocean's going to rise 1/8 of an inch over the next 400 years.
Oh my God.
And you'll have more.
My God.
You'll have more oceanfront property, right? The biggest threat is not that. The biggest threat is nuclear warming, because we have 5
nuclear
countries
warming
now that have significant nuclear power, and we have to not allow anything to happen with stupid people like Biden. You know, Biden did something with Russia. There was no chance of him ever going in. And when I left, and then after I left, they started forming big armies on the border with Ukraine, right?
Check Kamala HU. Yeah, no,
and I thought he was doing that because
they literally probably cannot get shit out fast enough.
But then Biden started saying such stupid things. For instance, he said that it can be a NATO country. Now, Russia, for as long as there's been NATO, has said we're never going to agree to that. And we go right up front and say that. And we did
I'll be right back.
and
I'm going to
said
go
things through this
refill my
president
water
with a
real
low
quick.
IQ, very low IQ. He had a low IQ 30 years ago, by the way, but now he might not even have a IQ at all. There's nothing on the board that goes this low. He said things that were so stupid that war would have been, that war had zero chance of happening if I were there. Zero chance. He was saying everything the opposite. Everything the opposite.
What does that even mean?
So
Everything the opposite.
Many more people have been killed in Ukraine than you read about. You don't read about how bloody it is and how disaster.
Sure.
Hey, look, just in the 2 armies, you lost 500,000 people. And you know, Ukraine's having a hard time. Ukraine, I don't know if you saw the article recently, and it's true. You don't hear the true story. But if you think about it, Russia's gone, you know, Russia defeated Germany with us, and they defeated Napoleon. You know, they've been around a long time. They're a big fighting force.
Yeah. So,
and it's very unfair. And Ukraine now doesn't have enough men. They're now using young men and very old men to fight. And we're in a very bad position. And I'm not going to blame exclusively, but I can tell you I could have stopped that. And a smart president could have stopped that. It wouldn't have happened. But we had a man that actually made it more prevalent. It was so bad. The words that he was using, the stupid threats coming from a stupid face that he was using. I said, this guy's going to cause us a war. He's going to cause us. And let me tell you, it can lead to World War III. That can lead to World War III. The Middle East can lead to. We have numerous places that could end up in a World War III right now for no reason whatsoever.
I think you're right. I think people underrate the risk of World War III, and it's just when you're looking at the risk of global thermonuclear warfare, it's game over for humanity. And it's something that people have, I think, after the end of the Cold War, people have become complacent about, but they actually have forgotten that there are currently a lot of nuclear missiles.
Oh, ribbity baby! They absolutely they think Elon thinks he's fucking crushing this right now.
And one of the things we're going to do is we're going to build an Iron Dome over us. Israel has it. We're going to have the best Iron Dome in the world. We need it, and we're going to make it all in the United States. But we're going to have protection, because it just takes one maniac to start something. We're going to have protection, and we're going to have. Why shouldn't we have an Iron Dome? Israel has one. Some other places have one that nobody even knows about, frankly. But Israel has it. We're going to have an Iron Dome. But with all of that being said, to me that's so important, the most important. But with all of that being said, the election's coming up, and the people want to hear about the economy and the fact that they can't buy groceries because they don't have enough money to buy groceries. The inflation has killed them. Food prices are up 50, 60, even 100% in some cases.
Iran is going to pay for the
stupid administration allowed this to happen, and it's a shame. And that's the thing that people most care about, in my opinion. They care about the border a lot. And we discussed the border at great length. It's nice to have a forum like this where I can discuss something at length. And by the way, you think Biden could do this interview? Do you think that Kamala could do this interview? They would take a pass on you.
No, they could not.
So they don't need Elon.
Yeah.
They don't need
fucking!
Elon
I wonder why.
Questions.
Do you think anybody else would take this interview where you just completely acquiesce with not even softball questions?
And in her case, with a very friendly interview, she's got all friendly interviewers.
That's what the fuck do you?
The big thing now is the economy, Elon. And as much as I mean, I view nuclear as the single most important
What can
thing,
you
but
call
a lot of people
this
don't-
if
lot of
not a
people don't
friendly
understand
interview?
that,
This
but
isn't
it
even an
doesn't have
interview.
to.
This is just
if I understand it, that's all you need.
platforming
Because if I was
you.
president,
This
you're not
might as
gonna
well
have
be a
that kind of
fucking
problem.
rally.
But the thing that they really is making them angry is what Kamala and Biden have allowed to happen to the economy. It's a disaster with inflation. The inflation, it doesn't matter what you make. The inflation has eaten you alive. If you're a worker or if you're just a middle-income person, you can't afford. 4 years ago,
Donald,
5
think
years
of
ago,
another
people
name
were
for
saving
somebody
a lot
who's
of
not a
money.
millionaire.
Today, they're using all their money and borrowing money just to live. It's a horrible thing that's happening, and we'll end that quickly.
Well, I think a lot of a lot of people just don't understand where inflation comes from. Inflation comes from government overspending, because the checks never bounce when it's written by the government. So if the government spends far more than it brings in, that increases the money supply, and if the money supply increases faster than the rate of goods and services, that's inflation. So really, we need to have we need to reduce our government spending, and we need to re-examine. I think we need like a government efficiency commission to say like, hey, where are we spending money that's sensible? Where is it not sensible? And we need to live within our means. We're currently adding, I think, $1 trillion to the deficit roughly every 100 days.
That's right.
And the interest payments on the national debt have now exceeded the defense budget. It's on the order of $1 trillion.
It's interest,
and it keeps growing.
I rebuilt our military, largely rebuilt our military. Did a great job on it, which was so important. We had jets, we had fighters that were. And bombers that were 70 years old, and we did a great job in that. Then we gave 85 billion of it back to Afghanistan, if you can believe it. We gave them 85
presented
billion.
without
they're
fucking
one of the
comment
largest
for anybody
sellers of
watching on
military
screen.
equipment in the world. They're selling what
Donald
we
Trump
gave
built
them.
the national debt so big,
That
even
was
before the
one of the
pandemic,
most
it'll weigh down the
embarrassing
economy
days
for
in the
years. The
history
king
of
of
our
debt
country.
promised to reduce
But,
the national debt.
if you
Then his
think
tax
about-
cuts
let's
made
go
it
back to
made it
the,
surge. And in the pandemic, and he
economy.
oversaw the
We have to
third
bring
biggest
energy
deficit
prices down.
increase of
Energy
any
started
president.
it. The price of gasoline Now, your cars don't require too much gasoline.
National debt has risen by almost
you have a
7.8
and you
trillion
do
during
make a
Trump's
great
time in
product,
office.
I have to say. I have to be honest with you.
Thank
That
you.
doesn't mean everybody should have an electric car, but these are minor details. But your product is incredible. But the gasoline, Elon, is
shocking.
The cost of
shocking.
Energy. Not only gasoline, it's the cost of heating your house and cooling your house. That has to come down. It's gone up 100%, 150, and 200%, and that has to come down. When that comes down, and we're going to drill, baby, drill. You know, they stopped drilling, and then they went back to drilling because they went back to the Trump policy. But if they won the day after they get into office, this country will go out of business because they're
already
go to an
in office. What the fuck are you
that's not
talking about?
Wind and different things. You're not going to have anything.
Yeah.
And I know you're a big fan of the AI, and I have to say that AI, and this is shocking to me, but AI requires twice the energy that the country already produces for everything. So you're going to have to build. We're going to have to build a lot of energy if our country will be competitive with China, because that's our primary competitor for this on the AI. You're going to need a lot of electricity.
AI.
You're going to need tremendous electricity.
He's so fucking old.
Almost double what we produce now for the whole country, if you can believe it.
Like, and he,
well, just
Trump hears AI takes this much,
this basic,
and at the same time that Trump is like, yeah, no, we're going to lower the national debt, he's like, oh, it costs twice as much as we currently have available, so we're just going to have to build new infrastructure. Where the fuck does that play into the national debt there, Donald?
That just tries to make the spending sensible, and so the country lives within its means, just like a person
The waste is incredible, and nobody negotiates prices. You used to have a lot of people making jets, and you end up with two companies, and they'll probably try and merge at some point. I mean, I went through it, like Air Force, just a thing like Air Force One. One of the first documents they asked me to sign, a general walks in, sir, would you please sign this document? And what is it? Air Force One. That's with Boeing, which is basically two planes, two 747s. And the price was $5.7 billion for two planes. Now, now they're highly sophisticated.
That's insane.
They're even nicer than your plane, okay? But much more sophisticated. They're very, I won't say what's on it, but they got a lot of stuff on it. Anyway, but it's 5.7.
That's a crazy
it's
number.
a crazy number, but I said, I'm not going to pay 5.7. I'm not going to do it. I said, who made the deal? Obama and his people. I said, well, then I know the deal's no good. I'm not going to do it. And over a course of about 4 weeks, by my saying I'm not going to do it, I got the price reduced by $1.6 billion for the exact same plane, other than we had a nicer paint job, if you want to know the truth. But for the exact same plane, I saved one. And I said to Boeing, man, you guys must make a lot of money if you can reduce the price by that. But now what I do hear is that they're going back to the Biden administration and wanting big cost overruns, you know, because they see these dopey suckers in there, and they'll end up getting some of the money back. But I shaved it by $1.6 billion for the exact same plane. And you can now take that.
My brain is cooked, y'all.
Multiply that out times thousands of other items.
This is fucking rough.
Yeah, the numbers.
Like, this is legitimately fucking rough to listen to.
Well, I mean, I think it would be great to just have a government efficiency commission that takes a look at these things and just ensures that the taxpayer money, the taxpayers' hard-earned money, is spent in a good way. And I'd be happy to help out on such a commission.
I'd love it
if it were formed.
Well, you're the greatest cutter. I mean, I look at what you do. You walk in and you just say.
How do you spend an hour with that fucking dipshit?
Strike, and you say, that's okay, you're all gone. You're all gone. So every one of you is gone, and you are the greatest. You would be very good. Oh, you would love it. But, you know, if you look at Argentina.
Well, I'd be happy to help
by the way,
out.
congratulations.
Yeah, I bet you would. Fucking.
To you and I chat. We'll call it a chat. But congratulations.
I'd be happy to help out.
I mean, it's great. And you're an interesting character. You know, the new head of a place called Argentina, and he's a big,
Malay's
awesome. he's great, and he's a big
Malay's
MAGA
awesome.
fan.
Okay,
You know that. He ran
another
on
little.
MAGA.
Let's expand this window a little bit more
He took it to
again.
an extreme too. He ran on MAGA, and I hear he's doing really a terrific job.
I hear he's doing really
it's called
terrific.
Make Argentina Great Again. It worked out perfectly. He came in, he bought a lot of hats, he brought everything, but he's doing a big job. He really cut. And I'm
He
hearing
really
they're starting
cut.
to do pretty well.
Winter
Inflation's
deepens
getting
misery
down.
for
You know, they had
Argentina's
like
poor.
2,000%.
Homelessness is on the
They had
rise.
inflation like
Medicine
not
reform
normal
squeezed pensions.
inflation. They
Less
had
inflation,
the
more
real
poverty
deal.
under
But
Milei.
we're going to have that pretty soon. We have. I think we have. the
Milei's
worst inflation
austerity
we've had
is
in 100
devastating
years.
Argentina.
They say it's 48 years. I don't believe it. I think we have the worst. They don't include a lot of the items that should be included. You know.
Yeah. Well, it's just from government overspending and not spending taxpayer money effectively, and having just like so many departments you can't. Milei is doing is he's cutting government spending. He's simplifying things. He's putting in regulations that make sense, and Argentina overnight is experiencing.
Poverty is at a staggering
right.
55%. Extreme
But
poverty
it's
is at
also a lesson for
18%.
the United States, which is
People's
that,
purchasing power has decreased by 20.7.
Argentina used to be one
UNICEF
of the
warned
most
that if
prosperous
conditions
countries in
didn't
the
change,
world.
child poverty would increase from 57 to 70%.
In the 30s, 40s, and because
Argentina
of bad government policy,
is going to
it ruined
have
the country.
70% of its
And you take
children in
Venezuela, for
poverty.
example, Venezuela should be
And these
incredibly
rich
prosperous.
fucking
They
dipshits
have,
who can't even
phenomenal,
properly, who are responsible for
reserves
inflation,
of,
who can't even properly
everything,
fucking define it.
And it should be prosperous, but if the government's wrong, it impoverishes the people. And so
Country's
I
in
think
a
we should
recession.
not be complacent in the United States and thinking that and taking out prosperity.
It verbally
for
attacks all
granted,
critics, stigmatizes the opposition
with
as
bad government
and has
policy,
moved to
we
criminalize
run the country
protests.
into
God,
the
I
ground.
wonder why they're
And
such big fans.
That's just something people should bear in mind. Don't take prosperity for granted.
Well, think of education. So we're ranked at the bottom of every list of the top 40. We're ranked number 40, number 38. Norway, Switzerland, Sweden, different countries are ranked good. Actually, China's pretty close to the top. They're
All
top
countries
6 or 7.
with socialized
But we're ranked at the
aspects,
bottom, almost at the
socialized
bottom,
medicine.
38, 39, 40.
Like,
in other words,
you
horrible.
fucking idiot.
And yet we spend more per pupil than any other country in the world. So we spend more. And what I'm going to do, one of the first acts, and this is where I need an Elon Musk. I need somebody that has a lot of strength and courage and smarts. I want to close up Department of Education, move education back to the states, where states like Iowa, where states like Idaho, not every state will do great, because states that basically aren't doing good now. You look at Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. He's terrible. He does a terrible job. So he's not going to do great with education. But of the 50, I would bet that 35 would do great.
Unfucking believable.
15 of them, or 20 of them, will be as good as Norway. Norway's considered great.
Idaho.
You can name them. I mean, they're so good. Some of these countries are so good. But if you go into some of these really well-run states, we have states that don't know what debt is. We have states that have low taxes, no debt, everybody working. They're really well-run. Sure. And maybe they have certain advantages.
I have to feed my cat because she's screaming at me.
Of, the land or the sun and the water and the whole thing. There are a lot of advantages that some people have. But if you moved education back to the 50, you'll have some that won't do well, but they'll actually be forced to do better because it'll be a pretty bad situation. But if you think about it, you'll have some of these states. I'll bet you'd have 30, 35 states. It'll be much better. And you know what it'll cost? Less than half what it is in Washington. And these people don't care about the students in these, faraway states. And it'd be unbelievable.
Yeah. I think you're making a good point in that if the states have to if each state has to compete against other states, then people will naturally move to states where it's better.
Well, like California, as we said, it's a badly run state. I could go through. I got so many friends that are in those states, even if they're Democrats.
Are they advocating for like fucking charter schooling?
Illinois is badly run with
on a national level.
He's a real loser. But some of these places
like this is just voucher program bullshit.
Run. But it's almost going to force them to run better, and they won't do it good initially. But you're not going to do worse than you're doing right now. And I would say that the cost, you would cut your cost by 50 or 60%. And you'd have a little monitor. You know, you want to make sure they're teaching English as an example. You know, give us a little English, right?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. No, but I mean, to what? I mean, some of these governors are doing so badly. I mean, they got so many people moving out of their state. They should get U-Haul Salesman of the Year award because they're driving so much U-Haul.
It's actually amazing.
Just people moving out.
Isn't it amazing to you as a businessman that they can even survive?
He thought he
like
fucking
Illinois,
ate there.
so
he was like, they should get a Utah or U-Haul Salesman of the Year award.
I saw where you left California, and you moved to Texas. Texas does a great job, but you know, I mean, I just wonder, how do these states survive when big businesses, a big oil company just left California, as you know, and they moved to Texas. How do these big states survive when they lose so many businesses? And
because they don't lose that many businesses.
Really, you know,
California still has a super strong economy. It has fucking Silicon Valley.
How do they
it has
on?
L.A.
And in many cases, the governors don't do a good job in their crime-ridden places. You wonder, how do they continue to just go on? It's not a good situation.
I mean, I think the only thing that's going to force some of these states to change is if they risk bankruptcy and they're not getting bailed out by the federal government.
Right. Well,
that's the only thing that's going to get them to change.
You remember the area in California where they had that, where I guess somebody had sticky fingers and they stole a lot of money. And
Lane Kaplan, I'm like,
they went into
this is going to be fucking crazy.
And it was very nasty
just off the top of
the
dome,
it's probably the most popular place.
The fact checkers going to go nuts with this.
So you know, at some point, something like that may have to happen. But the problem is, you can't penalize people that loan money to the state when you have incompetent people like a Pritzker. Look, the family didn't want him in the family business, and then he ends up being governor of Illinois. So you know what? Is he going to be a great governor? And you know, you have people. I could name every one of them. I got to know every one of these, and some are very good, and some are just horrible.
Well, I think that, I mean, the larger point here, too, you know, as you're saying, like a lot of people are concerned about the economy, a lot of people are concerned about inflation, and inflation is effectively a tax on people that save money, and for people that are working day to day, it's just a form of taxation, and if we can solve the government spending problem, we'll solve the inflation problem, which means people will have a better standard of living, and that's a really big deal.
Well, the people that got hurt worst are the people that did it the way they were taught to do it all through, you know, their younger life and their young life and their whole life. The people that saved money and then they got no interest on their money and inflation destroyed them. And frankly, they were almost better off if they didn't do anything like that. I mean, those people have been absolutely decimated, and we're going to bring those people back and help those people. We've got to get the prices down. You know, when I look at bacon costing 4 or 5 times more than it did a few years ago. When you look at some of the food products in grocery stores, people go, they can't believe it. They used to be able to buy a whole cart, and today, you know, a lot of people just don't have the money. They go in and they can't buy anything. They look at it's sticker shock. They call it sticker shock, right?
I think it really just comes, like I said, I think it just comes down to really, I guess, two things, which is that if you solve government overspending, you solve inflation, which improves living standards of the average person, and then if you deregulate, like have sensible regulations, so because a lot of the regulations are nonsensical and cause the cost to be extreme for no reason, but unless you've got effective deregulation, like Reagan did a great job on deregulation in the 80s, but it's been 40 years since we had anyone really. I mean, during your administration, we made some progress, but I think there's an opportunity to make, I think, radical progress with sensible regulation. And if
Elon,
those two things, those are the big deals.
We set a record. We did more deregulation and more restrictions on all of the different businesses than any other president. Remember, I had the rule for every one we put in, you have to get rid of 10 or 12. And we did radical cuts on all of that, and a lot of
that's fucking insane.
By this administration, and we did radical cuts on things that weren't necessary. But we were all set. You know, we had the best economy ever, maybe in the world. And then what happened is COVID came in, and we had to focus on that, and nobody knew what it was. And I always say I got
Oh my
good marks
God,
on
dude,
economy,
you
good
fucked
marks
up.
on military. We knocked out ISIS. We did so many.
My
different
brain was
things.
melting
We
during the
rebuilt.
conference last
But,
week.
you
It's
know,
spontaneously
I never
combusting
got
now. Thank you, Elo, for the
credit that
$10.
we really
It is
deserved
very
on what we
helpful right
did
now.
with-
What the
with
fuck?
COVID. We never got the credit, but we were. If had that
Also, to
not
anybody on
happened, the
YouTube
gift
who
from
hasn't
China,
seen, I
from
put out a new
Wuhan,
episode of the shooter
came
ranking
in from
series that I
Wuhan,
do.
the Wuhan
It has,
labs,
I
and I
know
always
it
said it, and
gets
it turned out
usually
to be
less
right.
views. It
But
has
had
like
that
such
not-
bad views
had
right
that
now. If
not
you can go
happened, we
help
were
that
set
out,
to
it would be
start
appreciated.
reducing,
After this, of course.
Debt. We're going to reduce taxes.
God, they
further.
could
I
be
gave
here
the
for a
largest
long
tax
time. I
cuts,
have no
and we
idea
were
when
going
this
to
is
reduce
gonna
taxes still further
end.
for middle-income people, not only businesses. But we did it for businesses because they're the ones that's why we had the great job numbers. But we were set to really start reducing debt. And, you know, we're sitting on the biggest pile of liquid gold anywhere in the world, bigger than Saudi Arabia, bigger than Russia. And we were going to drill, and we were going to make so much money. We were going to supply Europe with oil. I had stopped the Russian pipeline, and we were going to supply them with oil and gas. We were going to make a fortune. And then the COVID came in, and we really had to divert. Then what happened is when they came in, you know, we kept a lot of businesses alive. If I didn't do what we did, we would have had a 1929 type depression. But the problem is when Biden came in, he got trillions of dollars and just started spending it stupidly. You didn't need it anymore. You know, we got over that bad period where everybody was dying and feeling, you know, it was just not a good period. Interestingly, you know, during his administration, many more people died during his administration of COVID than during my administration, and we really got the brunt of it. But people don't realize more people died during his administration than ours. But it diverted us from doing what I wanted to do. But we had the greatest for, you know, almost 3 years. We had the great, and you know that probably better than anybody. So many of your friends said to me, the best years we've ever had in business were during the Trump years. And also said that
because you cut regulations. Like we already talked about this. Like he did tax cuts for billionaires that caused massive deficit spikes and inflation.
Young people without
oh my God.
Young people that graduated from the best colleges, from MIT, from the Wharton School, from all of the great colleges, Harvard, they were doing better, and people without a diploma were doing better, and everybody was happy. And then COVID came, and we had the problem is they spent trillions and trillions of dollars. They wasted. They shouldn't have taken any money, and we wouldn't be having inflation right now, which is killing our country.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I should probably say something about, like, you know, maybe my views on, you know, climate change.
Yeah, you should say like any of your fucking views,
because,
dude. Jesus fucking Christ.
I think it's probably different from what most people would assume. Because my views are actually pretty, I think, moderate in this regard, which is that I don't think we should vilify the oil and gas industry and the people that have worked very hard in those industries to provide the necessary energy to support the economy. And if we were to stop using oil and gas right now, we would all be starving and the economy would collapse. So it's, you know, I don't think it's right to sort of vilify the oil and gas industry.
Of course you don't. You don't think it's right to hate billionaires because you are one, dude.
Demand for oil and gas, and it's probably better if the United States provides.
Yeah, this is the new Doom expansion. Like, won't somebody think of the poor CEO? Seriously, that's what.
And at the same time, obviously, my view is like we do over time want to move to a sustainable energy economy, because eventually you do run out of. I mean, you run out of oil and gas. It's not there. It's not infinite. And there is some risk. I think it's not, the risk is not as high as you know, a lot of people say it is with respect to global warming. But I think if you just keep increasing the parts per million in the atmosphere long enough, eventually it actually simply gets uncomfortable to breathe. People don't realize this. If you go past 1,000 parts per million of CO2, you start getting headaches and nausea. And so we're now in the sort of 400 range. We're adding, I think, about roughly 2 parts per million per year. So I mean, it still gives us. So what it means is, like, we still have quite a bit of time But
Oh
so there's
my
not, like,
God,
we don't need to rush, and we don't need to, like, stop farmers.
Every
from
major
farming
scientific organization says that we have way
prevent
less
people from
time than
having
we think.
steaks
And he's
or
like, well, actually,
basic
it's
stuff
not
like
hard to
that.
breathe
Like,
yet,
leave
so
the
we have a
farmers
lot of
alone.
I
time.
agree.
in
How
my
crazy
opinion.
is that where
I mean,
you have farmers that are not allowed to farm anymore and have to get rid of their cattle and the whole
Oh my
the
God, is he gonna
whole
do the
world is
fucking
a little
silly.
crazy, but
methane
it's
thing?
largely taken its lead from us. I just say though, I've heard in terms of the fossil fuel, because even to create your electric car and create the electricity needed for the electric car.
Yeah, remember when we
fossil
thought this
fuel
guy
is
was
what
going to solve the
really creates
climate
that at
crisis?
the generating plants, and
Couldn't have been
you know,
me.
so
Was
you
not
sort of
me.
can't get away from it at this moment. I mean, someday you might
I feel
be able
I am
to,
a proud
but I do
OG
hear we have
Elon
anywhere
Musk
from
hater because I've
100
always
to
hated the
500
fucking
years
guy.
left. You know, much of it hasn't even been found yet.
Yeah.
But there are tremendous, like Anwar. I got Anwar in Alaska approved. Ronald Reagan couldn't do it. Nobody could do it. Everybody tried. Nobody could do it. I got it approved. The first thing that Biden did was unimprove it, to get rid of it.
Unimprove
He
it?
ended it. His
Unimprove
his
it?
secretary went in and she ended it. And what a disgrace. That's Anwar. That's bigger, or they think it could be bigger than Saudi Arabia in Alaska. Could be bigger than Saudi Arabia. But they went in and they terminated it. And I'll get it going very quickly, because not only is it big for Alaska, I mean, you talk about economic development, that for the United States, I mean, that is, they say bigger than Saudi Arabia or the same size, and pure, really good stuff. And, they end it. So I think we have, perhaps hundreds of years left. Nobody really knows. But during that,
oh my God, they're so
come around. That will be very good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my estimate would be, a little more.
No, yeah, you'll notice they haven't really
aggressive than
talked
that, but
about
it's
Kamala
not
at
the
all.
Sort of like we're all going to die in 5 years stuff. That's obviously BS. But I mean, my view is, like, if you just look at sort of the parts per million that increments every year.
If you
get
just
sort of
look at
2
the
or
parts
3
per million.
every year of CO2. I mean, I think some of that it's problematic if it accelerates. If you start going from 2
It
or
is
3
accelerating.
to, say, 5, and then there may be some situations where you get just a step change increase in the CO2, and I think we don't want to get too close to 1,000 ppm, because, like, that's actually makes it uncomfortable to breathe. Like, just existing in 1,000 ppm CO2.
Have you? Do you not? I know he doesn't like go out into the real world at all ever.
Industrial hazard,
right?
Just so it's that's actually, you start getting headaches and stuff. So it's even without global warming, it's not comfortable to live in. So you don't want to get too close to that. But I mean, I think we've got. I think we want to just move over, and if I don't know, 50 to 100 years from now, we're I don't know, mostly sustainable, I think that'll probably be okay. So it's not like the house is on fire immediately, but I think it is something we need to move towards. And on balance, it's probably better to move there faster than slower. But like I said, without vilifying the oil and gas industry, and without causing hardship in the short term, I think this can be done. Without, people can still have, a stake, and they can still drive gasoline cars, and it's okay. It's like, it's not. I don't think we should vilify people for it, but I think we should just generally lean in the direction of sustainability.
Here's the thing. Elon has to be saying this because half of his entire business is electric cars. He has to be advocating for this shit. And so he is trying to push as gently as he can against Trump's shit right now. Lots of folk learning for the first time that Trump rambles like Grandpa Simpson.
Cars,
this is just like Israelis.
Yeah,
no.
Toast,
thank you for the 5. Like, this is
and,
just.
That's what
this is just him.
To move things towards, and I think we've
like Elon wanted to give people an uninhibited look at how he talks, and it's not going to be a debate. It's not going to be an interview. It's just going to be a conversation.
The environment should mean that
this is how he fucking talks.
So we make sure that our cars
he has nothing
are
else.
beautiful, that they drive well, that they're fast, they're sexy. I mean, they're cool. In fact, literally, I mean, the sexy joke, Model S, Model 3, Model X, and Y spells out sexy. It's probably the most expensive joke out there. But I don't know. I like cheesy humor, So, but I'm a big fan of, like, let's have an inspiring future, and let's work towards a better future, and we do so without demonizing
Right.
people.
I'm okay.
You know?
It's very interesting. You use the word global warming, and today they use the word climate change because you have some places that go up, and so they were getting themselves in a little trouble with the word global warming because not every place is warming. Some places are going the opposite direction. But I'm sort of waiting for you to come up with solar panels on the roofs of your cars and on the trunks of the cars, and it just seems like something that at some point you will come up with. I'm sure
you will come up with. You just told them an idea.
A solar panel on the roofs, on flat surfaces, on certain surfaces might be good.
Yeah.
At least in certain areas of the country where you have the world where you have the sun. But I would think, and I have no idea because that's not my world, but I would think that this would be something that would be interesting. But the one thing that I don't understand is that people talk about global warming or they talk about climate change, but they never talk about nuclear warming. And to me,
because nuclear warming isn't a thing.
Because
what
you have,
the fuck?
As I said, 5 countries.
Nuclear warming is not a thing.
Nuclear, and probably.
I feel
some
I'm going insane. I'm going
very dangerous. That's where you need a strong
fucking
American
bonkers right
president,
now.
Because you don't want to.
I feel like I'm losing my goddamn mind,
but
guys.
You have 5 countries and getting more. China is much less than us right now, but they're going to catch us sooner than people think. They're way lower. Russia and us are number 1, and we're sort of tied. And China is far behind, but they're developing at a level that you're not surprised to hear very fast. They'll end up catching up, maybe even surpassing. But to me, the biggest problem is not climate change. It's not, and everything's a problem, but it's degrees. To me, the big problem is the nuclear power. The power of nuclear is so great. And when I talk about I'll prevent World War III,
like they're talking about fucking.
But the truth is that you have to, because
like Metallica B-sides. They're like, actually, like King Nothing is kind of underrated. Like, what the fuck?
A level of destruction and power.
This is gonna give me a goddamn aneurysm, guys.
Yeah, and actually, there's the bad side of nuclear, which is a nuclear war, very bad side. But there's also.
Oh, is it?
I think.
Is it Elon?
Nuclear.
Is nuclear war the bad side of nuclear?
You're right.
Fucking world's smallest man.
Have this fear of nuclear.
Smartest man.
Nuclear electricity generation, but it's actually one of the.
My brain is
forms
melting.
Of electricity generation, it's just a huge misunderstanding. And if you look at the injuries and deaths, caused by, say, I'm not going to try to pick on coal mining, but just any kind of mining operation. And there's a certain number of injuries and deaths per year. And you compare that to nuclear. Nuclear is actually way better. So it's underrated as an electricity source, and I think it's something that's worth reconsidering. But there's so much regulation that people can't get it done. So that
maybe they'll have to change the name. The name is it's a rough name. There are some areas like when you see what happened in
bad branding.
Right, we'll have to rebrand it. We'll have to give it a good name. We'll name it after you or something.
What?
No, it has a branding
Why would you
problem.
name
when
it?
You see what happened.
It does have a branding problem.
When you see what happened in Japan, where they say you won't be able to go on the land for about 3,000 years. Did you ever see that? And in Russia, where they had the problem, where they. There's a lot of
calling
bad things
Chernobyl
happen,
the problem,
and they have a problem. And they say that in 2,000 years, people will start to occupy the land again. You realize it's pretty bad.
No, that's not true.
But there's.
That's not true.
It's amazing.
It's actually not that bad. So like after Fukushima happened in Japan, people were asking me in California, are we worried about like a nuclear cloud coming from Japan? I'm like, no, that's crazy. It's not even dangerous in Fukushima. I actually flew there and ate locally grown vegetables on TV to prove it. And I donated a solar water treatment, a solar powered system for a water treatment plant. And
but you haven't been feeling so well lately, and I'm worried about it.
No, but I mean,
I'm only kidding.
It's fine, It's like Hiroshima and Nagasaki were bombed, but now they're like full cities again. So it's really not something that
Trump just hearing about this for the first time. He's like, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they're full cities. That's great. That's great.
Touch on. Like lawfare. I think
Well,
I legitimately think Trump did not know.
Yeah.
Well,
that Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
This was a Biden administration did something that's
Fucking
never been done in
IRCC,
this,
thank you for 200
country.
biddies. What I
And
hate
that's
about
go
this point
after
is
their
that it's mostly
political
correct.
opponent,
Nuclear energy
me,
has one of the lowest
with
death
this
rates in terms of
nonsense,
industrial accidents. It could be a
and
viable
just
option.
nonsense. And the
Problem
big
is that it's
case
being
in
talked about by
Florida
two
we
people who could be trusted with a box of
they
fucking
always
matches.
pick a
Yeah.
judge and a jury, and they use the local DAs, they use the local attorney generals, like Fani, Fani, spelled F-A-N-I, Fani, and it's all a big hoax, and it's all run from there, like in Manhattan.
Fuck you! Come on.
One of the top people from the Justice Department went in, ran Manhattan, ran the state. The Letitia James deal was run by a person from the Department of Justice, Biden. They've never done this before, and they set up a very bad precedent. It's called lawfare, warfare. It's a terrible thing.
Lawfare,
And
warfare.
never happened in our country. It does happen in banana republics and third world countries, but it's never happened. And the incredible thing is it actually drove my numbers up because people see, fortunately I have a platform like you, or, in all fairness, like a conversation like this, where I can talk about it and people understand. I mean, you fight for election integrity and you end up getting indicted because you're fighting for election integrity. And when the day comes that you can't fight for election integrity, you don't have a country anymore. So what happens is they went after their political opponent, me. Now Biden's, close to vegetable stage, in my opinion. Okay, I looked at him today on the beach, and I said, why would anybody allow him? The guy could barely walk. Why would anybody allow him? Does he have a political advisor that thinks this looks good? He thinks this looks good because it looks so bad. And
is he talking about Biden's
ridiculous.
beach body?
I mean, and he's been doing that for a long time. He can't lift the chair. The chair weighs about 3 ounces. It's meant for children and old people to lift. And he can't lift it. The whole thing is crazy.
Well, he's clearly, he's clearly like we just don't have a president right now.
You don't have a president. And she's going to be worse than him because she is a San Francisco liberal who destroyed San Francisco, and then as Attorney General, she destroyed California. You talk about location, and we're talking about the sun and the water and all. There's nothing better than California. She has destroyed that. She was the original DA. She was the original in San Francisco. She was the original Attorney General in California. What she has done to California is, well, you know better than I do. You just left California for a lot of those reasons. And what she's done with crime, with cashless bail, where you kill somebody. I mean, we have states there you kill somebody and they let you out right away. I mean, you don't have to even put up, and then they never find the people unless they kill again, and then they let them out again. Our country is becoming a very dangerous place, and she is a radical left San Francisco liberal, and now she's trying to protect. Now she's looking like she wants to be more Trump than Trump, if that's possible. I don't think it's possible, but she wants to be more Trump than Trump.
Yeah.
I want a wall.
I think that's.
She wants to release all the prisoners that are in detention, and some of these guys are really bad.
Right.
That just came out today. She doesn't want to build the wall, even though the walls work. Walls and wheels. In your business, everything you do is obsolete. Almost, well, not the tunnels, but everything is obsolete. Even your rocket ships, they're like a month later, they're obsolete. You find a better way to. The only thing that's not obsolete is a wall and a wheel. And the wall, I built hundreds of miles of wall, and that's why we had such good numbers. I was going to add 200 miles. We bought it. We could have flipped it up in 3 weeks, and they sold it for 5 cents on the dollar. That meant, I said, wow, that means that they actually do want to have open borders. She wants to have open borders, and now she's going like she's tough on the border.
Oh, fuck.
It's such a lie.
Yeah, this is simply not true. This is simply not true.
And everybody knows it's not true. It's a disgrace that she can say it.
No, I mean, obviously, what's happening sort of overnight is they're rewriting history and making Kamala sound like a moderate when in fact she is far left, like far left.
Worse than Bernie Sanders. She is considered more liberal by far than Bernie Sanders. She's a radical left lunatic, and if she's going to be our president, very quickly you're not going to have a country anymore. And she'll go back to all of the things that she believes in. She believes in defunding the police. She believes in no fracking, zero. Now,
fracking is fucking terrible.
No,
what?
I really want to see fracking. if they got in, the day
really
she got
wanna
in, she'll
see
end
fracking. Fucking quote
And
it,
by the
dude.
way, if people didn't think that, the lunatics that really believe in that, they won't vote for her. You know, like the Palestinians and Israel. She is so anti-Israel, and she's bad for both. Biden actually did something
Let's go.
that was impossible.
Okay.
Both
I'm
sides
sold.
hate him, you
This
know,
is just
both
that meme.
sides.
Like
that was a hard thing
you
to
didn't
do.
have to convince
Unification.
me. Like I was already on board.
Yeah, no. I mean,
Trump wants fracking. Trump literally just said, "I want
give
fracking."
A talk to
fucking
a joint Senate and House sitting, and I was there, and Kamala stood him up. You know, what does that say?
I think it's highly
that's,
disrespectful. And I say, if you're a Jewish person or if you believe in Israel, if you're a person that, you know, is very pro-Israel, if you vote for her, it's worse than Biden. And Biden was bad. But if you vote for her, you ought to have your head examined. And you see tonight, I mean, as we're doing this, I'm seeing reports coming that they expect an attack tonight or tomorrow from hundreds and maybe thousands of rockets.
He said the
their
exact
Iron
same
Dome,
thing
as they call it, as we all
last
call it,
week.
but their shield that they build, that can be swamped. We'll use the term that's appropriate, swamped. But they swamp it by shooting enough missiles. You know this better than anybody. By shooting enough missiles, they can't defend themselves. You know, they just obliterate the whole place. And that's what some people think they're looking to do. And we have no leadership. There's no respect for the United States of America with these people. And I'm telling you, she'll be worse than him because she's a believer in being radical left, and he wasn't.
I think you're right. I mean, you really, it's important for the public that maybe
how they have not laid out a single like outside of fear mongering about
before
how
the last
okay.
month, and say, is that a track record you agree with? And I think if you're an independent moderate, you definitely would not agree with it, because it is her behavior has been far left, and we're seeing just an overnight propaganda attempt to rewrite history and make it sound like Kamala's moderate when she in fact is not moderate.
Well, her running mate approved, signed into legislation, tampons in boys' bathrooms. Okay, now that's all I have to hear. Tampons in boys' bathrooms, and that means
that's pretty
people
weird.
I mean,
you fucking scumbag piece of shit, transphobic
because
asshole.
He was the closest to her. A lot
why
of
don't we
people
talk about why your
picked
daughter
sort of the
doesn't talk to
opposite,
you anymore, shithead?
But she picked an anti-Israel, radical left person. But she is far worse, they say, than Bernie Sanders. If we have her as a president, if we have a Democrat at this moment as the president, I don't think our country can survive.
I think it's a massive. I think we're in massive trouble, frankly, with the Kamala administration.
The most awkward circle jerk conversation ever. Andy had a it's pretty fucking rough.
I think
it's pretty fucking rough.
I think really it's essential that you win for the good of the country for this election, and I mean that's understating my opinion.
It's just like each of them sucking each other off.
You may have seen this,
but
fuck
off. Cyber dude right here, really?
The EU Commission, like saying, to not have disinformation on during this discussion that we're having, and there's a lot of attempts to do censorship and to force censorship even on Americans from other countries, and what do you think about that?
Well, I know the European Union very well. They take great advantage of the United States in trade, as you know. We, through a different forum, NATO, we protect them, and yet if you build a car in the United States, you can't sell it in Europe. You just can't sell it. It's impossible. The same thing with our farmers. Our farmers find it very difficult to do business. We have a deficit with them of $250 billion, which people don't know. It sounds so nice, the European Union, but let me tell you, they're not as tough as China, but they're bad, and I let them know it. And that's probably why they notified you. No, they don't treat our country well. We defend them, with Ukraine. So we're in for $250 billion, and they're in for about $71 billion, and they have the same size. If you add up the European nations that, in terms of an economy, it's about the same size, wouldn't you say, as us? And they're in, and they're in much greater risk. They're right there. We have an ocean separating us from, in this case, the enemy would be Russia. It used to be for the Soviet Union, but let's assume they're close enough. And what happens is they're in for 70-something million. I think even less than that, billion, and we're in for about 250 billion, and it could be a lot higher than that. And I say, why aren't you going to equalize? Why aren't they paying what we're paying? And they're in much more, it's much more important for them because of the fact that, they're right near there. I mean, they're all sort of in that location. We're not. But they should, and I did it with NATO. There were only 7 countries that were paid up in NATO out of 28 at the time. And the United States the United States was subsidizing NATO, tremendously subsidizing NATO. And I said, I went in and I said, you got to pay up. If you don't pay up, we're not going to defend you any longer. I took a lot of heat, but you know what happened? Billions and billions of dollars came flowing in. And
I think a lot of the public isn't aware of the fact that the
Irish CC, thank you for the 100 base. The USSR and Russian Federation are essentially the same in the sense that they're oligarchic empires without the czar. So I know very little about the Russian Federation.
Europe, and it's it's like, then okay, well,
NATO's
why
not
is
some
the
form
United
of
States paying
subscription service.
disproportionately
That's the
more
way
to
conservatives
defend
really
Europe
want
than Europe?
like
That
to
doesn't make
portray
sense.
it.
That's
Like
unfair.
you can just
And
join
that is
NATO
an
and
appropriate
drop
thing
out
to
of NATO
address.
and like, oh, when
when you talk
I'm in,
about
I'm just not going to pay
cost-cutting
my
and
NATO
savings and
subscription.
everything else, I mean, honestly, look, there's nobody that feels worse about the Ukraine situation than I do because I know it would have never happened. I know Zelensky. He was very honorable to me because when they went with the Russia hoax and they said I had a phone call with him, he said it was a perfect phone call. It was a great phone call. He could have grandstanded and, said, oh, he was very threatening. He said, no, it was a very nice phone call. I called him up to congratulate him on his win, and you end up getting impeached because these people are lunatics. I was talking about the difference from the people within and the enemies on the outside. In many cases, the people from within are more dangerous for our country than the Russians and the Chinas. If you have a smart president, you're not going to have a problem with them. You're going to do things.
Yeah.
Now they've taken advantage of
absolutely.
us incredibly, but you're going to do things with the right person.
Yeah. Well, I think it's obvious that you're a believer and an advocate of free speech because during your first term as president, you were attacked relentlessly every day, often very unfairly with false attacks, and you didn't try to shut down the media. You didn't try to.
Dude, yes, he has.
Freedom of speech, and I think that says a lot.
Well, the good thing is that
this fucking freedom of speach bullshit coming from the dude who censored the word cis on Twitter, by the way.
Although sometimes it's hard because they don't want to print it, like we're having a great conversation right now. Kamala wouldn't have this conversation. She can't because she's not smart. She's not a smart person, by the way. She can't have this conversation. And Biden, we don't even have to talk about it. I mean, he couldn't have this conversation. He would have given up on the first half of a question. He would have walked out. He would have said, where am I? Where am I going? So anyway, but no, he wouldn't have this.
That's true.
Keep up the good fight, Barb. Thank you very much for the $10.
But, we cover a lot of territory.
Who is this for? This is for the
we can have a
large
conversation.
Oh, I don't like this at all.
I'm able to get it out without because I get treated unfairly.
This is a really big point. You can actually have a conversation with you.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
And you can't have a conversation with Biden or Kamala. It's like it's not possible. So this is like talking to an NPC.
No.
So it's just impossible.
Well, but
NPC, my God, dude, lay off the fucking 4chan.
Person who's unbelievably sharp in order to stop all the nuclear danger and all the dangers that I'm talking about. And I got along with all these. I got along with Kim Jong-un. We had dinner. We had everything. And he really liked me, and I got along with him really well. By the way, he's the absolute boss over there. A lot of people said, oh, do you think he really...
That's for sure.
Let me tell you, I saw things that you don't want to know about. He is the boss. But we had a good relationship, and he doesn't like Biden. He considers him a stupid man, he said. He's a stupid man. Well, at least he speaks his mind. But, in this country, you're not sort of allowed to say it, but I guess you are. You should be allowed to say it if it's true. But we need smart people, and we need people that have an ability to lead. And she doesn't have that ability. Can you imagine? Now, Chairman Xi very well. Can you imagine her and him negotiating or even standing together? It is, the whole concept is ridiculous. She is terrible. She's terrible. But she's getting a free ride. I saw a picture of her on Time Magazine today. She looks like the most beautiful actress ever to live. It was a drawing. And actually, she looked very much like our great First Lady, Melania. Didn't look.
Yeah.
She didn't look like Camilla. That's right. But of course, she's a beautiful woman, so we'll leave it at that, right?
Yeah,
Kamala looked
maybe,
like Melania.
I think part of what people in America want to, people in America want to feel excited and inspired about the future. They want to feel like the future is going to be better than the past, and that America is going to do things that are greater than we've done in the past, reach new heights that make you proud to be an American, and excited about the future.
They want the American dream back. They want the American dream back. More important than anything else. It's like you don't have that today because the people, they've been just sucked. They see incompetent people running our. The Biden thing is very interesting. People just found him to be incompetent, and when I debated him, I was like, "Is this for real?" It was.
Yeah, it was just absurd. But I think there are some grand projects that we could do. I mean, I think we could build a base on the moon. We could send American astronauts to Mars. We could build high-speed connections that are more advanced than anything else in the world between our cities, so people have fast transport. It's possible to solve traffic with tunnels. We've already made great progress in Vegas doing that, and and just do things that are exciting and inspiring and make the future feel like it's better than the past.
Well, I saw what you did in Vegas, and I'll tell you, it was amazing. I got to see. I took a big glimpse at it.
The fucking Hyperloop. Oh my God.
Incredible. And you could do that all over. It's deep.
Yeah.
You don't even need much structure, assuming you're in the right area.
No, it's straightforward.
It's amazing.
I think we could do some things that like China's got incredible high-speed rail between its cities.
Musk made the Hyperloop, Blazing Snark.
With
for those who don't know, Hyperloop is basically just a drivable trail that picks you up in a Tesla.
Like legal to actually do.
It's like a shittier subway.
High-speed tunnels that are actually better than anything else in the world for high-speed transport between cities, and that would be something that Americans can say, "Wow, okay, we've got something that's cooler than anyone else in the world." That's the kind of thing that makes you proud to be an American.
And much safer than surface trains, where there is a danger there. With crazy people, it's much safer, much better. And it's sad because I've seen some of the greatest trains. I find it fascinating. And I've seen the systems and how they work, and the bullet trains, they call them, I guess. And they go unbelievably fast, unbelievably comfortable, with no problems. And we don't have anything like that in this country, not even close. And it doesn't make sense that we don't. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and I think also there's, I'm kind of hopping on the excess regulation, but I think something that I think people can generally understand is that what happens with laws and regulations is that there's more and more of them every year, and unless there's a process to clean them up, eventually everything becomes illegal, and that actually it slows down the development of new technologies. I mean, if you take sort of I think there's room for some reform at the FDA for improving the speed with which we approve drugs that could help save lives and improve people's lives.
Dog says hello.
I worked very hard on that. We got that down to the lowest number ever, and we got therapeutics approved in the FDA that people can't even believe the speed. But I took them on. I don't think they like me too much, but I got things approved in the FDA at numbers that they wouldn't believe. And
that's not good.
It's a very
you cut oversight and regulations on important things.
Group of people in many cases. I got to know a lot of them, but I was pushing them really hard for Regenerons, for so many different things that were really pretty amazing. But the FDA takes too long. It's 12 years to get a product approved. I got it down to 4, and I got some things done very quickly. But it's really something that is going to have to be worked on because it takes too long. Just takes too long.
Yeah, it just takes too long, and you end up in the same with the approval, but it just it takes years instead of something that I think could potentially take months, and that improves people's lives. I think I just wanted to hop on this point that there has to be an active process for reducing rules and regulations, because otherwise They just keep building up every year, and you get like hardening of the arteries, and eventually everything's illegal or takes forever, and then we just we just ossify as a society. We can't make any progress, and that's it's a really big deal.
Well, you know, Elon, just getting back to the FDA for 1 second, I got something done called Right to Try. This is where you can go in and, if you're terminally ill, you can use a space age, medicine or whatever it may be. We have the best doctors, the best labs in the world. We really do. But people would go to other countries because you couldn't use the product, even if they thought it worked, because it's going through the FDA. I got it approved where you can, you basically, look, nobody wanted, the doctors didn't want it because of the liability. The country didn't want it, our country, because they didn't want to get sued. These are people terminally ill. The insurance companies didn't want it, and the pharmaceutical companies, nobody wanted it. I got everybody into a room, and we came up with an agreement that you won't get sued.
I don't know if anybody else can see this.
And also, they didn't want it on their record if somebody's terminally
on my
ill
phone,
and they die
he's
after
just
taking
fucking
the
like
drug, they
sitting
didn't want
at
that
a
on their
desk in
record.
Mar-a-Lago
So
talking
we set
into
a
his phone.
second-
So that
a
explains
separate list if
literally
somebody was-
everything.
so it wouldn't count as a negative, okay?
God
and
damn.
as you know, we got it done. We have saved Right to Try. They've been trying to get this done for 58 years, and it sounds simple, but it wasn't, because the insurance companies, nobody wanted it, but we got it done. Somebody signs, you sign a document that you're not going to sue the insurance companies, the country, you're not going to sue anybody, and we got it done, and we're saving tens of thousands of lives. Right to Try. Hopefully you never need it, but if you do, you don't have to travel to Asia. You know, people, if they had money, they go to Asia, they go to Europe. If they don't have money, they go home and die. That's what happened. They'd go home and die.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and actually, to give Europe some props here, it's like if a drug is approved in Europe, which has a crazy amount of regulations, it should obviously be approved in the U.S.
Yeah.
I mean, they get more regulations than we do. So why would a drug be approved in Europe and not in the U.S.? That's crazy.
Well, we did it. We did something that really they've been trying to do it for 50
my
years,
brain feels worse right now than it was at like the 30-hour mark
but you're right.
of the live stream.
Some people go to Europe because
stream.
a drug isn't approved here, but it's approved in Europe, and it's a drug that, generally speaking, would work. It's pretty crazy.
Absolutely.
You're right.
And I think so, as long as people are properly informed of the pros and cons, and like these are the risks, this is the risk, and like you make your own decision.
With dog, but I'm not. I'm listening to this.
That makes sense.
Well, I think just, in sort of closing
up,
and by the way, I'm looking at the numbers. You got a lot of people listening. I hope you don't get nervous, because you got a lot of people listening to you right now, like 60 million or something. What is that number? It's crazy. It's amazing how you can see that right away. How many? What is the number? Wow.
1.3 million.
What is it?
Well,
1.3 million. So it's a little different from 60 mil. Are they gone? What happened? What just happened? What's going on?
Weeks. It's going to be hundreds.
That's what they say. Yeah, that's good. Well, look, it's an honor. But I just asked this: are you better off now?
No. Are we? What's going on here now? Come on, y'all. Is it crashing out again?
I was like,
it's like the Sopranos finale. Oh my god. Yeah, they're still fucking still at it. Still going.
messed up.
Oh, it's terrible.
If violent criminals are getting off scot-free, and meanwhile the New York spending massive resources prosecuting you, and it's like what's this and I think the sort of sensible public looks at this and says, what the heck's going on here? This is obviously abuse of the legal system. The legal system is supposed to be protecting the public from violent criminals, and it should be obviously allowing the public to make their own decision about who should be president, as opposed to some legal case.
Once they start this precedent, because this can go on with the next one. I mean, this is a very bad precedent what they're doing in terms of going after their political opponent, and that's all it is. It's going after their political opponent, and then you get a judge who's a strong Democrat, and I'm being nice when I say that, in many cases crooked as hell. But you get a judge,
We're going
and you go
back
into
to
an area
this.
where
All right,
a Republican
let's
gets
go
3
back
or 4%
to the
of the
beginning.
vote.
Take it from the top,
and,
everybody.
You'll have a jury pool with people that hate Republicans.
Oh no, they think they're
it
fucking
could also be
crushing
the other
it
way,
right now, dude.
because it could start the other way in areas where they hate Democrats, and you get into a Pandora's box. It's a very dangerous thing for this country, and a very dangerous thing even for the state. New York City is losing. New York City and state lose a lot of business over what they did to me, because these people say, we don't want that to happen to us. That's no justice system. You have an unfair system of justice, and it's costing New York State a tremendous amount of money. People are leaving and companies are leaving, and they won't come back. So, all of that stuff is important. But the economy now is the big thing, and we can turn that economy up so fast, and people are going to be back again. We're going to get rid of inflation.
I think there's a lot of opportunity.
Right,
absolutely. So,
and I just want to congratulate you. You've done an amazing job. You have definitely got a fertile mind. We can talk. You and I can talk about rockets.
He has such a fucking weird way with words.
Tunnels. We can talk about tunnels and rockets and electric cars. So many things.
Fertile
and
mind.
Now you're into the AI, and that's going to be another beauty.
Into the AI. God.
So it's an amazing thing you've done, Elon. It's an amazing thing, and I congratulate you.
I mean, thank you. And I just say here, here's to an exciting, inspiring future that people can look forward to and be optimistic and excited about what happens next. And that's the kind of future that I think you will bring as president, and that's why I endorse you.
Well, I appreciate that. That endorsement meant a lot to me. Not all endorsements mean that much, to be honest. Your endorsement meant a lot. And, we have a phrase, make America great again. It's pretty simple, but it really says that we want to make America great again. And we can do it. We can do it now. But if we were going to suffer another 4 years like we've suffered for the last 4 years, I'm not sure the country can ever come back. That's how bad it is. It's so bad. We have to do a lot of things.
I think that's a very real risk.
Yeah, it's a big risk.
That's a very real risk.
Yeah.
And it's, I'd just like to note to people listening, like I've not been very political before, and if you look at my record, I've actually been. I'm not like, sometimes they try to paint me as like a far right guy, which is absurd, because I'm like making electric vehicles and solar and batteries, helping with the environment.
That's the only thing you have.
And I actually
that's the only thing you have.
I supported Obama. I stood in line for 6 hours to shake Obama's hand when he was running for president. And so
could it be because you're just like a perpetual simp?
Long-term Republican. I'd call myself historically a moderate Democrat, but now I feel like we're really at a critical juncture for the country.
Moderate Democrat, rampant transphobe.
I think a lot of people thought
buddying up to fucking libs of TikTok
administration, but it's not. And obviously,
straight up, I can't be racist. I build electric vehicles.
And even further
crazy,
left administration with Kamala. That's my honest opinion. I mean, her dad is literally. She was brought up as an actual. Her dad is a Marxist economist. You can Google it. I mean, it's not a. We're not making this up. That's how she was brought up. So, and we want to have a future that is prosperous. And I think we're just at this critical juncture, and I think this is a case of the America. Is going to at a fork in the road, and
true.
And I think it will take the path to, like, you are the path to prosperity, and I think Kamala is the opposite. Then that's my honest opinion. I'm gonna get attacked like crazy, and I've also experienced quite a bit of lawfare myself. But I'm just trying to tell people my honest opinion.
Could it be because you have a bad habit of just calling random people pedophiles and trying to besmirch people and shut them down with literally no fucking proof, you goddamn dipshit?
If not moderate, slightly left. And so this is to people out there who are in the moderate camp to say, I think you should support Donald Trump for president.
Donald Trump, the moderate candidate.
A very important junction in the road, and we're in deep trouble if it goes the other way.
Well, I want to thank you. And, you know, I actually always did think of you as somewhat left. I must say that. So it's even more of an honor to have your endorsement. I know how strong you feel about it. But, you know, when you think of her, San Francisco, 15 years ago, I had a great friend, Bob Tish. He said it's the greatest city in America. And now it's almost not livable there. And California likewise. And she was involved in the destruction of San Francisco and the destruction of California. And she will be involved in the destruction of our country if people are so unwise as to elect her. And I hope that doesn't happen. And I hope the elections are going to be run honestly. And we're going to turn this country around. We're going to do things and we can do it fairly quickly. And we have to get rid of the criminals that have been, you know, given to us by other countries as they laugh. They laugh at us. They think we're stupid to accept these people. These are radical, stone-cold killers in many cases and terrorists. And they're in our country by the hundreds of thousands.
Fucking crazy how nothing has fucking changed since 2016.
And we have to take them out.
Like, his brain's still playing the exact same.
It, perhaps, you know, I think
like the exact same.
These are issues that I think most people in America would agree with, which is that we want safe and clean cities, we want secure borders, we want sensible government spending, we want to
Trump, we just read an article about how fucking Trump raised the deficit more than any fucking
judicial system,
president.
Stop the lawfare.
Like,
and I think that's like, and how are those even right-wing positions? I think those are just that's just common
They're not
sense.
right-wing positions. You are
I mean, would you agree with that?
100%.
How is it right-wing to want to have the largest expulsion of immigrants in our nation's history? How is it right-wing to paint every migrant, even ones trying to flee and seek asylum, as violent murderers and rapists? How is that right-wing?
Which makes sense. In fact, the next time what we'll do is if something happens with this election, which would be a horror show, we'll meet the next time in Venezuela because it'll be a far safer place to meet than our country, okay? So we'll go, you and I will go, and we'll have a meeting and dinner in Venezuela. Because that's what's happening. Their crime rate's coming down, and our crime rate's going through the roof, and it's so simple. And you haven't seen anything yet, because these people have come into our country, and they're just getting acclimated. And they don't know about being politically correct law enforcement or lack of law enforcement. And our police, I have to just end with this, we have great police, we have great law enforcement, but they're not allowed to do their job. They have to be able to do their job without being destroyed.
Well, absolutely, and it's obviously demoralizing if you're a police officer risking your life to arrest violent criminals who could kill you and do kill you sometimes.
Siding with the police, making all of America fucking DA, sound like Gotham City. Yeah, no, this dude totally leftist, totally
and
liberal.
Let the guy out. Yeah. Well, then, like, why should a police officer risk their life to arrest a violent felon?
Well, even worse, Elon,
if nothing's going to happen.
Even worse, they prosecute the police officer. They go after it, and they prosecute the police officer, and they take away his pension, they take away his job. He loses his family. He loses his house.
Well, I thought it was very telling, like incredibly telling, that when there was that case where sort of a gang of thugs beat up police officers. I think it was in Times Square.
Just say black person. Everybody knows what you mean, Elon.
And then
everybody's seen the racism suits from Tesla, or would you call that lawfare too,
well,
buddy?
That is a gross indignity against the United States, and that's how. I mean, this is insane. Like, have we lost all pride? What
God, he has no fucking charisma at all.
I've never seen anything.
He's
we see where they get shot. It's a very dangerous profession, but it's something they're very proud of, and they want to be able to do their job. But I've seen them get shot. I've seen a lot of things. But I've never seen where these guys are standing in the middle of a big street. Everybody watching them, and they're literally boxing, like punching, stand-up fighting. A police officer, there were two of them, and you had about 6 of these guys, and they're punching the hell out of them. And in their own country, they would be dead if they did that. They'd be shot.
Yes.
They would be shot instantly.
They would be shot in this country.
And,
What the
they
fuck
come
are
from
you
these
talking
countries,
about?
And it's taking them a while to realize that we don't do that in this country. But in their own country, if they stood on a street and had a fight with a police officer,
famously,
they would be
police
shot.
in America,
There's no
not
political
trigger happy at
correctness.
all.
And it's such a sad, it's such a sad thing to see. And that's the reason you have crime, by the way, because we don't do anything about it.
Yeah, we just cannot have a situation where our police officers are beaten up on camera by a gang of illegal immigrants, and then nothing happens to the guys that beat up the cops. I mean, and they're let out. This is unacceptable.
Well, we're going to change it, and we're going to get them out of the country. You know, when I first got involved, they said you couldn't get them back to these countries. You couldn't take them back. In the case of Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, some others, you couldn't get them back. And I said, really? Oh, you can't get them back. Because under Obama, he couldn't get them back. They'd fly them in, and they'd put planes on the runways in these countries so you couldn't land a plane. They'd bring them back. And the generals told me, sir, we can't bring them back. The countries won't accept MS-13.
Oh my God, how long
They
has this
won't
been
accept
going
them.
on? I thought this
And
would be
said,
like
really?
an
How much
hour
do we pay
long.
these various countries in terms of economic aid, which is also somewhat ridiculous? And the answer was $750 million. I said, good. Tell them they're in default. They're delinquent. We're not paying them anymore because they won't accept it. And you know what happened? They all called me, every one of them. They said, we would be honored to take them back, sir. We would be honored. It was so easy. But it's one of those things. And we got them back. We took in so many. You know, MS-13 is probably the worst gangs in the world. They're the most vicious, violent. We took them out of here by the thousands and got them out of here. And their countries took them back. And because I said, you're not getting any more economic aid. And once I said that, they were nice. They wouldn't take them back for Obama. They wouldn't take them back for anybody. And now we have a problem because we have this guy, and they don't take them back anymore with Biden because they don't respect him.
It's just gotta be done. We just can't have whether they're citizens or not citizens. We can't have, because they won't prosecute citizens either, not just illegals. So you can't have violent, repeat violent offenders that are not that don't get incarcerated.
That's right.
Because they will obviously, by definition, continue to hurt people. And I think where part of this comes from is that there's and I do sort of consider myself liberal in some ways. I mean, it's just that you want to have empathy for people. Obviously, you want to have empathy for people. I totally agree with that. You want to have empathy, but you also have to have empathy for the victims of the criminals. And if you just have empathy for the criminals, it's actually shallow empathy. It's not real. You're not thinking. You're one layer deep empathy. You got to say, like, what if you don't incarcerate this person? Who are they going to hurt? Who are they might kill someone. They might rape someone. If you don't incarcerate them, you have to have empathy for the victims. And there's a lack of empathy for the victims of the criminals, and too much empathy for the criminals. It doesn't make sense. That's why you want to have deep empathy for society as a whole, not shallow empathy.
How do you have deep empathy for society as a whole and you don't realize that criminals can be victims too, you fucking moron?
They can do a great job. But we have to let them do their job. And if we don't do that,
And Trump, absolutely did not even begin to comprehend what he was actually trying to get at there.
Where you're allowed to
do
anything you want
dumbass
and nothing
bullshit
happens.
year
And I'm
one
talking about
psychology
violent
major.
crime. And it's going to get more violent because these are really, really violent people. And we're going to get them out of our country, and we're going to get them back to because they were sent here by the presidents and by the various people that run those countries. And I know every one of those guys. And they're smart people, and they're streetwise people. And they really think that the USA is stupid. They think we're run by stupid people, and they happen to be right. But when I was there, we had no problem. We got them out. We took out thousands of MS-13 gang members. We brought them back. And now, again, it's the same old story. We don't do it. And they actually gave them a big increase in aid. They raised it up to billions of dollars, and they get nothing for it. So, I hope everybody's going to vote for Trump, and we're going to get this country straight. Yeah. And I didn't need this. I'm like you. I didn't need this. I had a very nice life. I didn't need to go
yeah,
through
no,
court
totally.
systems
Yeah,
and go through all the other stuff and run at the same time. I have to run. I have to go through fake trials with, in some cases, corrupt judges, totally corrupt judges. I didn't need it. I had a nice life. I have great locations. I have beautiful oceans that I have places. But I felt it was important. And if I had to do it over again, you probably think I'm crazy for doing it, actually. But if I had to do it over again, I would have done it over again, because this is so much more important than me or my life. We're going to save this country. This country is going down. And these people are bad people that we're running against, and they're liars. They make statements. They do things that are so bad. They say they're going to make a strong border. They say they've been great on the border, and they've been the worst in history. They say they're going to stop crime.
Like, the facts speak for themselves.
It's so incredible.
The facts, the facts speak for themselves, buddy. Do not fucking sit here and say the facts speak for themselves.
It's going to happen. That's what I hear anecdotally from people all the time.
My God.
It's just, my values.
Blue X, thank you for $2. I do not have the patience to listen to this at all.
I think are important for the future is like we've got to have safe cities, we've got to have secure borders, we've got to have sensible spending, and we've got to have deregulation, and so we can have a prosperous future. And then we want to have some exciting, sort of moonshot projects that people can get fired up about, and that's the future I'm looking for. And I'm pro environment, but I'm not against. I'm not like I don't think we should vilify the oil and gas industry, because they're keeping civilization going right now. And but I do think we want to move, at a reasonable speed towards a sustainable energy economy. Those are my values.
What he's basically saying there is, I don't want to say anything against the people who want Trump in office, but also I need to get my ducats. I also need money because I have this electric car thing. So maybe throw me a fucking bone.
Incentive to companies to come into our country, not to leave our country. We're going to be giving tremendous incentives. We want companies to build here, not to build in other locations, and we want to create jobs. And again, it's about the American dream. You don't hear about the American dream anymore, Elon. You don't hear. You're the American dream in the truest sense, but you don't hear about the American dream anymore, and you're going to hear about it.
In what fucking world?
They need that incentive to go out and do it, and they're going to love their lives. I mean, they're going to look forward to getting up in the morning and going to a job that they love, not a job that they can't stand, or not any job at all, where they have no money, where they literally have no money, and then they end up with violence and lots of other problems. No, we're going to do some great things. And I learned a lot in the first. We had a great economy and all of that. We rebuilt the military. We did so much. But I also learned the best people. I learned the good people, the smart people, the dumb people, the people that can do things. The people, you learn. When I first came in, I tell people I was in Washington, D.C. only 17 times, according to the fake news media. I was in 17 times. I never stayed over. And you don't know people. You rely on other people to give you names, and then you realize the people you relied on weren't so good. Now, we had great people, but we also had some where I wouldn't have.
What the fuck is he even talking about?
Now I know everybody.
He stayed in Washington, D.C. 17 times, but
really
the fake news says it was.
We have no choice, otherwise we're not going to have a country.
What?
And I really appreciate this. Has been, to me, it's been a lot of fun being with you. You're an amazing guy. You've done an incredible job and a great inspiration to people. A great inspiration. And I hope you keep going and just continue to do well. And we're going to have a big election coming up. And I think November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. I think that election will be the most important election. And I think it'll end up being maybe the most important day in the history of our country, because if we don't win, I just feel so sorry for everybody.
No, I think we're at a fork in the road of destiny of civilization, and
a fork. Wow, just so eloquent. A fork in the road of destiny of civilization.
You're the right path. So I think that's what it comes down to.
Thank you very much, Elon. It's a great honor, and we'll do it again sometime. And it's been really fun, and I hope you got a lot of viewers. I hear you got a lot, but I hope you got a lot. I know you got a lot of them. So I appreciate it. I'll see you soon.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Elon. Thank you very much. Bye.
Elon, did you make sure to swallow? Don't spit now. Fuck, man. I'm just... Yeah, see, Taylor Lorenz, Trump says 60 million people are listening to Musk's Twitter space, 1.1 million people. Musk says the number of people who will hear the convo in the coming weeks is hundreds of millions. I didn't think this would run 3 fucking hours. Jesus Christ, guys. Well, we made it. We survived. Yeah, like, that was fucking... That's one of the worst live streams I've ever fucking seen, dude. I mean, it's not even seen. I can't even say seen, because it was just... I just listened to it. That is... Like, how... Like, I do it for you. I do it all for you. I do everything for you. Thank you very much, Legatus Lupus, for subscribing. Because I know a lot of you, some of you are also terminally online like I am, and you're going to want to watch it anyway. And so I figure it is better to have, like, a space for us to watch it together. Were there visuals? Angry Goose? No. It was just a Twitter space. It was just hearing their voices. The funniest part, like, a lot of great clips, a lot of stuff that's going to go around in the next couple days, of people just being like, why did he say that? Why did he say it that way? The funniest part is the fact that Elon claimed there was a DDoS attack, even if there was a DDoS. Oh, excuse me. Even if there was a DDoS, it's just very funny that the Elon's, you know, precious program shit the fucking bed right out the gate. I love it. You love to see it. You love to see it, honestly. But yeah, as always, I want to thank everybody for donating. I want to thank you all for watching. Please, please, please go check out the latest video up on the channel, the shooter video. I'll be having a stream highlight video out soon, and then that will be the last video probably for a week or so. So if you have any donations to get in, they are very, very much appreciated right now. Simply because I know the video I just put out will do... I will be lucky to make $10 off of it. Like, straight up, I will be lucky to make $10 off of it. I do it for the love. But the Synthetic Man video is my next big project, and that will be coming... Hopefully, the script should be done this week. It will hopefully be done next week. And that thing is like... That thing's going to be big. I'm putting all my effort towards that. Angry Goose, are there any highlights to the interview we just sat through? I don't even think so, because there's not enough to really... Like, so here's... I don't make highlights of every stream I do, because I want there to be, like, if I want to put out a highlight video, I want it to be, at least in terms of the information, like, obviously not the production, but, like, at least in terms of the information I'm giving out, as good as everything else I do, right? So if I don't have, like, I just don't think it's interesting viewing to have me, like, go through this entire stream and just me yelling at the stream every now and again. Like, I don't think that's fun. And I only debunked like 2 things, so it's not like there's not like a lot going on there anyway. Let's go to actually, it's not letting me raid. So, oh well. I'm gonna go. I have Bratty Sucky Boy coming over in the next 2 hours, so I'm gonna go get ready, and thank you all so much, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night, and keep an eye on the channel. I will probably be streaming on Wednesday with Bratty Sucky Boy, so keep an eye out for that, and we will be having a double stream once they get here. Good night.